Well, well, well. Another day of Matt Eberflus talking about the Cowboys defense. And I'm very interested because I have not listened to it, but I'm very interested to hear what Matt Eberflus has to say this week. Even though I've kind of seen where some people have said some things like Matt Eberflus ain't moving, whatever the case may be, I want to hear it. And we got a whole lot more to talk about it. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Yup. It is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 4 more days and the Cowboys will be playing again. Look like we're going to have an afternoon game, 3 o'clock game, and it is going to be exciting, I guarantee. It is not going to disappoint, and I'm excited about it. Let's go. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And we are live. And so, if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up this season. Then let's talk facts. Man, I got a show for us today. I be so excited to get on a lot of times because, man, social media when it comes to the Cowboys, man, I'm just gonna tell y'all, and I'm gonna elaborate on this a little bit more. Man, y'all gotta stop letting people hold y'all hostage. There are people out there in Cowboys Nation that totally hold Cowboys, some Cowboy fans just hold their emotions in the palm of their hands. Man, y'all gotta stop letting people control y'all mind. Stop getting upset about things that has not happened. Stop getting upset about things that there is no indicator that they're going to happen. Stop letting people control your emotions with their thoughts. Man, we be mad at the Cowboys for stuff that somebody done made up that they think is a good idea. Man, it don't matter what people think at the end of the day. We can only go with what the Cowboys do. And we gonna either make a choice. We either gonna be with them or we are going to be against them in the grand scheme of things. So for me, I'm with the Cowboys all the way. So, this is today's show. We'll see if we can get through all of it. Today we're gonna be talking about, we're gonna listen to Matt Eberflus. Man, Matt Eberflus, all I can tell you is Matt Eberflus is Matt Eberflus at this point. He's got some confidence, and I'm not sure where all that, I know where some of it comes from, but we're going to see how long that holds up. We're going to finish this thing with Nate Newton. I cannot believe more people are not talking about Nate Newton. When it comes to the Cowboys defense, nobody has made as much sense as Nate Newton. We're going to listen to the rest of Nate Newton because I think it's incredible what he said. Next, Troy Aikman on the ticket. Really didn't say anything. I won't say he didn't say anything major, but he said something that I do want you to hear about Dak Prescott. I'm also going to let you hear what Donovan McNabb, in case you didn't know, I'm going to let you hear what Donovan McNabb said about Dak Prescott. Yeah, man, Philadelphia Eagle fans going to be mad at Donovan McNabb. Then we're going to listen to the player interview from Dak Prescott. I think we may actually try to fit a few more in because the Troy Aikman section, the Troy Aikman section, Donovan McNabb section is short. So I think we're going to try to fit in maybe even Dak Prescott, a little bit of CeeDee Lamb, some of Javonte Williams, and maybe one more. Next, injury report. Going to be very short. We'll talk about the injury report. Then we're going to talk about this crazy thing with Sam Williams. I don't even know what to make of it, heads or tails. All I can tell you is people are upset about it. Then, we're going to talk about the trade news. This actually isn't trade news. Man, we got to stop getting mad about things that have not happened. We've known the Cowboys long enough that there are just certain things the Cowboys are not going to do. And so I don't understand why people get upset about things they already know the Cowboys are not going to do. Cowboys, you got to wait and see. But this is what we're going to be talking about today. Matt Eberflus, Nate Newton, Troy Aikman, Donovan McNabb, Dak Prescott, injury report, Sam Williams, and trade news. Let's talk about it, Cowboys. Let's go. Let's get a quick roll call, and then we're going to get right into the show. Dominique Pittman, it's time to bless him. Let's go. Let's go. Dominique said, let me know if you need a hype man. Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Yo, G, bless him, bless him, bless him. Derek Grimsley. He said, pray for me, G. My car got repossessed. What? Man, prayers for Derek Grimsley, my brother. Cowboys Nation, let's pray for Derek Grimsley. Derek Grimsley, this kind of stuff is happening a lot, bro. It's happening a lot. Nothing to be embarrassed of. It's hard out there right now. It's hard out there right now. Prayers up for you, my brother. Prayers up. Cowboys for life. What's going on? He said Eberflus hopefully has a plan this week. John Jones, he said, what up, G Money? I said to New Jack City. John Henry, Lord Nova, what's going on? Jesus, Barado, Jesus Barado, I'm sorry. This defense is taking steps. By the time they get it together, the season will be over. What a waste. Woo, boy. That's why we're going to keep listening to Nate Newton today. Nate Newton, I think Nate Newton has the best explanation that I've heard from anybody. Big Mouse Dog, he said, hit that like button. What up, Big Mouse Dog? Inglewood, Trojans, what's going on? Too Tall Jones, Mark Davis, Daniel Lee, my right-hand man. What up with your superstar status in here? Rex Carter, Marvin Mays, Dolores Ennis. What is going on with you, Dolores? Lock and D, what is up with you? We're going to talk about Trey Hendrickson in a moment. Hoodie Kush in the building. What is going on? Ron Hanna, my man, what is up with you? Nisi, my sister from the beginning. She said, hey, G. She said, hey, chat. She said his flu's fired. Not yet, Nisi. Don't think it's gonna happen. Yamar, what's going on? Wait, Yamar said he finally said something right. Could we be talking about Matt Eberflus? We'll see. All right. Divine King, appreciate that $9.99 super chat. Boy, Divine King, boy, let me tell you, I know, man. I got to give Emmanuel Acho credit, Divine King. He been knocking it out the park on this Dallas Cowboys defense. I'll give him some credit. He been knocking it out the park. He been talking about the scheme, everything. He been knocking it out the park. I'm going to see, when they were on speak, they wouldn't let anybody talk, show any of their content. So I'm going to see if he'll let somebody do it now. We'll try to put some of it on the channel. But yeah, Acho been talking that mess, man, and he been talking some truth. DJ, what's going on? It says DJ Strife 1. What's up with you? Rose back up in here. What's going on? He said, I want to be positive, but I don't want to be disappointed either, G. Hey, man, sometimes we got to get sometimes you get both of those together. Get right or get left. He said, can't even be excited for the season. Yes, you can. Awesome offense with a future defense. Feels like Joe Burrow all over again. I think we're going to do better than that. What's going on, LaQueen, Gwen Bowden, Poobie D, fam, what's going on? Got my back up in here. All right, Michael Garden, what's going on with you? Bass is back up in this thing. What's going on? Baba Toon, what's this? Baba Toon Dead Sheena. What? How is it going? I hope I didn't mess it up too bad. Ice Cold Cowboy, what's going on? Dolores Ennis, let's get it. All right, guys, too many y'all in here. Chris Dunaway, y'all, hey, I'll greet you. It's some more y'all as we get going for the day. All right. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. All 178 of y'all so far. Man, let's get into this thing about Matt Eberflus. And I think what'll give this Matt Eberflus thing even more context is what it is once we listen to Nate Newton behind it again. Because I'm telling us, man, Nate Newton has given the best explanation I've heard anybody say about the Cowboys defense. And we'll recap Nate Newton when we pull Nate Newton up, because we're just going to listen to the part that we didn't get a chance to finish together. So for right now, let's buckle up. Matt Eberflus is still employed by the Dallas Cowboys as of this morning. All right, let's get into it.
All right. How's everybody doing? All right.
And again, like I tell you all the time, Matt Eberflus, he takes a lot of the air out of interviews because he comes in with his own introductory statement, giving you the State of the Union, and I'm pretty sure he takes a lot of air out of some of those questions. Let's get a quick super chat in here again from Star Gordon X. Appreciate you. He said, "What up, G? At this point, just keep your draft picks, Jerry. Not one person can help this defense at this point." Star Guardian X, people are mad at me, and I know they are, but I got the same sentiment. Keep your draft picks, Jerry. Unless there is something, Star Guardian X, unless there is something that comes along that you absolutely can't pass up, keep your draft picks. And I'm not moving off those first-round draft picks. Only way I'm moving off those first-round draft picks is somebody would have to give me an incredible player, not just a player, an incredible player, plus they'd have to give me 2 2s. They're either going to give me a player, they're going to give me a player and a 2 and a 3. They're going to give me a combination. I'm not taking a player straight across for a 1 or a 2. I'm not doing it. The goal is not to give up draft capital. The goal is to keep draft capital. Star Guardian X, I got people mad at me because that's my same sentiment. There is not one single player, and that's why I've been saying even about the defense, there is not one single player the Cowboys could trade for. Because I'm telling y'all, this defense right now, it's pretty bad. And Michael Parsons, it was going to look bad with Michael Parsons here. We might would have had some Cool Whip on the turd, but it still would have been a turd at this point. And I think Nate Newton gives the reason why. So let's check out Matt Eberflus. Let's see what he has to say about this defense this week.
So just looking at this week, super excited about this week and the challenge it certainly creates and provides for us. We have a great opportunity this week, to really. I thought a couple weeks ago we put a step forward, versus the Jets, and then last week obviously disappointed in that performance, and we were finding answers and looking for solutions, and it's really about the solutions. Is a we solution, us doing it together, and we had some good meetings this week, some good conversations, and obviously we're disappointed. And it's not to our standard how we played last week, and we got to do a better job there. But there's in every film, when you look at it, there's also good in there, right? So you have to, focus on that and also focus on improvement. There were some good things in there where you caused a takeaway. You had some good third down stops. We did some good things, and you got to build upon that. And the guys are working diligently to get that done. We know that solution's in the room. There's not a magic pill there. We just got to make sure that we do a great job of working together, and then being together, right, and then making sure the plan is tight and effective. And again, that's all of us working together, in getting that done. So I understand that the disappointment and the players and all that, but hey, we've moved on. This is now a couple days away from the game, and excited, like I said, about the challenge here this week.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Any changes you make, can they be big changes or subtle to kind of find a solution?
Yeah, I think that when you're working through this, it has to be subtle. You put a percentage on it, whatever. But I think that it's got to be subtle. It's got to be in the package already, and it's got to be something that you've practiced and you've worked on, and you make your tweaks and adjustments from there. But again, it's got to be subtle.
Do you believe you have an identity as a defense?
I still think we're working. We're working. I do think that, up front we have an identity. I think that's good. The guys are really, coming off the ball and doing that. And we got to do a really good job of building, that throughout the whole defense. So it's important that we just keep working, keep finding solutions what works best for the guys that we have back there. And again, I've said it before, is that, we've had guys in and out, and that's a big piece of it, what you can do and can't do. So it's important that we find the best solution there.
Now, see, this is a part of what Nate Newton is talking about. And I'm telling us what Nate Newton said makes even more sense right now. The Cowboys actually should have established their identity in training camp. Not only their identity, they should have been working harder on the things that they're trying to do now. They should have already started. They should have knew before they left training camp that Sam Williams wasn't going to be what they were expecting. Dante Fowler was not going to be what they're expecting. They didn't put Kyer Elam through. I mean, you think about it, though, Dak Prescott was kind of abusing, in particular, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens. They were kind of abusing this secondary. But under the guise of the generic, people didn't think it was a big deal. But again, Nate Newton made a great point, because when the Rams came in here and thrashed the Cowboys defense, I mean, literally we had people running wide open and we were just like, man, it's just practice. It's the same thing right now. So they don't have their identity. It's week 6. It's week 7. We don't have an identity. It's week 7. We still don't have the right personnel combination to know what works best for this team. We have so many unanswered questions in week 7, and they're still working on it. So that makes me wonder, are the Cowboys going to take this Matt Eberflus experiment all the way into the second season of Brian Schottenheimer's tenure? Because they can't allow another year. They can't allow this 2 years in a row. And they really can't allow it the rest of this year. The Cowboys have got to have a solution. Now, this part right here, it just is what it is. The Cowboys, by the time DeMarion Overshown hits that field, the Cowboys need to be settled on a definitive starting defensive roster that this is going to be the players that are going to get the majority of the snaps. They need to be decided upon on that. So that by the time the Cowboys come out of the bye week, and let's pray that we go into the bye week and we're above 500, which I think we'll be above 500, so that when we come out of the bye week, the defense is good enough to maybe hold some of those teams that we're going to play to about 24 points. Anything below 20, we can throw that in the trash. This defense, I don't think, will be good enough this year to hold teams below 20. I'm asking for 24. If we could get this defense to the point of holding teams to 24, Dak Prescott and this offense are going to score 27. We already know the threshold at the very minimum. The Cowboys are going to score 27 points, probably minimum, on the road. And at home, who knows? The Cowboys might literally bust 50 at home one day this year, because the offense is that good. They busted 40 at home on Green Bay, 40 at home with the New York Giants. So we got the Commanders. I got a strange feeling we're going to score 30-plus points against the Commanders. It'll be another shootout. It's just going to depend on, can the defense get some stops? Can the Cowboys get the ball last? But we're in week 7, and we're talking about identities and all of these things. It's going to be tough trading. Because, again, we're trying to do something that we should have already had done. We should have already had this done. We should have shown more in training camp and in preseason. We should have really been working hard on this, rather than sitting guys and rotating and all that. No. And we need to stop all the rotational stuff. We need to get settled on who are the primary defensive defenders that we're going to use. Man, everybody needs to get into a rhythm. Not just a running back, not just a quarterback or a wide receiver, even the defense, man. You can't play them one drive and then 2 more drives later, they're in the game. No, man, you got to, there are a certain core guys. You got to keep those guys working. This is a very tough situation for the Cowboys to be in this late in the season. Game 7. It's tough.
Todd Archer with ESPN. How much is some of the solutions maybe doing things that you aren't comfortable or haven't done a lot of in the past with your defense, as far as man or bringing more pressures, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, you look at everything, right? You look at everything when your performance has been, inconsistent or not to the standard. You certainly look at everything. You're trying to find solutions. That's the coach's job to get that done, and nothing's off the table. And it's important that we do a great job of finding the right mix and right balance, in terms of keeping the plan tight as well. So that's important to do that too.
That's it.
Yeah, is that, you mentioned keeping the plan tight. Is there a tendency when it doesn't like this, you do more and it makes it worse, or things kind of get out of whack?
Yeah, I think that's you always want to keep the plan tight, tight and effective, and that's where you want to be so the guys can execute.
Tommy.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. There's a lot of talk recently about parity in the NFL, and when it's so week to week and things can change so quickly, how do you find consistency so that you can go on the field and produce similarly week in, week out?
Yeah, to me, that's about. It comes back to fundamentals. It comes back to fundamentals. Comes back to basics. That's the way. The one thing that doesn't change is playing hard, right? Using great fundamentals. Great technique. And executing. And that's everybody in the room, right? So that to me is what it is. There's no, magic call and all those things. You got to do those 3 things. You got to make sure that you're fundamentally sound. Make sure you're doing a great job playing with violence. And then executing.
And then in the pass defense with some of the big plays that came last week, was it some of the same issues you saw earlier on in terms of communication, or what was kind of the message to guys this week?
Yeah, it's just everybody being on the same page. It's not anything that's glaring. We just got to make sure that we understand that being on the same page is so important. Making sure that the calls are communicated across, and the guys do a good job of doing that. And when we do that, we've executed.
Now, I got to add this in here because I think he's alluding to it. We're going to give Matt Eberflus his share of the blame in this. But if you go and look at the Carolina Panthers tape, you want to talk about getting your butt kicked all over the field? I can get losing because sometimes teams just have a good game plan. But when I tell you the Carolina Panthers kicked the Cowboys defense all over the place, I mean all over the place. There just can't be no excuse for, is it a lack of effort? Or are you telling me that the man in front of you is that much better than you? They were moving the Cowboys defensive. And let me tell you something. Don't get it twisted. They targeted Kenny Clark. The Carolina Panthers, if you go look at the tape, they targeted Kenny Clark. They were double and triple teaming. Don't think because Michael Parsons is gone that they're not drawing double teams on players. No, they're drawing double teams on players. And the one that they drew the double team on this week was none other than Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark has been very effective for the Cowboys. And the Carolina Panthers had a plan that Kenny Clark was not going to stop them from running the ball. They doubled and sometimes triple teamed Kenny Clark, and then they whooped other players one-on-one. Sam Williams ought to be ashamed of himself. Whooped Sam Williams one-on-one. Also, Diggy Zua got whooped sometimes one-on-one. I'm telling you, I gotta, This Cowboys defense, man, is such a conundrum. Yeah, is the scheme maybe bad? Yeah. Okay, we can say, yeah, the scheme is bad. But Eberflus is alluding to, and I think this is probably some of his argument as he's talking to Shotty and Jerry and Steven and Will McClay. Guys, but that's no excuse for the lack of physicality. That's no excuse for guys getting whooped. That's just no excuse for poor tackling. Some of this stuff, it's a combination of so many things. And maybe it's because they're thinking too much and then they can't react the way that they need to. But I do think that Eberflus is pushing back subtly about fundamentals. Some of that could be attributed to the scheme. They don't like the scheme, don't know what they're doing, and so they can't fundamentally function right. But what's the excuse for the lack of physicality by these players? Getting whooped at the point of attack. I mean, getting whooped. They whooped the Cowboys' butt so bad that they were 6 yards deep. They were 6 yards beyond the line of scrimmage sometimes before the running back, before Rico Dowdle even got touched. 6 yards? I don't know what to tell us. I know what Matt Eberflus is saying. Man, when you put that tape on, you're asking yourself, okay, something has to be wrong with the scheme because guys are running wide open. But what the heck is going on that they're getting whooped so bad at the point of attack? What is going on with this? And I'm still confused on this part. How is Matt Eberflus the linebacker whisperer? And that seemed to be one of the most lost parts of the defense. I can't understand that part. I mean, this man, I'm telling you, this is stuff that should have been worked out. It should have been worked out in training camp. They shouldn't have been trying to hide as much. They should have been practicing all of the stuff they're trying to do now. True Texan, what's going on today? He said, OMG, BS detector. He said it's just broke. I'm tired of it. Yeah. True Texas said Matt Eberflus here is 25 cents. Call someone. True Texas. I think Matt Eberflus is, guys, let me just say it like this. We want honesty. Y'all do know Matt Eberflus, Brian Schottenheimer, Matt Eberflus. Y'all do know these guys can't be 100% honest. What do you want Matt Eberflus to truly say? Sam Williams sucks? Anybody want him to say? I know we want him to say Sam Williams sucks. He can't say Sam Williams sucks. Matt Eberflus can't truly say these guys want to play man to man, and Trayvon Diggs in particular is not ready to play man to man. Diggs ain't never been a burner. Now, if you telling me that Diggs gonna cover something 15 and up, yeah, I think Diggs can still do it. I think Diggs still got instinct. I think Diggs can still jump on a 15-yard or out route or in route or a dig route. I think he can jump those. Give him a fly route. It's over. Let it be a go route. Diggs is left in the dust. Diggs is left in the dust. Give him a post route. Diggs is left in the dust. He ain't fast enough to play trail technique no more. He's not fast enough to do it. And we got to be honest, as much as we're saying, let these players play some of the stuff they're more comfortable with. Everybody's making the argument that Elam and Diggs are man corners. I will agree with you. They're man corners. But are they ready to play man right now? Have we asked ourselves that honest question? Is Trayvon Diggs truly ready to play man? Because if Trayvon Diggs plays man, now understand this. No, he's not going to get to play man with somebody, with Donovan Wilson over the top or Wanye Thomas over the top. He's not going to get to do that. If Trayvon Diggs is going to play man, then Trayvon Diggs is going to play man by himself. It's going to be him and whoever it is on an island. And I'm telling you, if that wide receiver is even a little bit fast, it's over. I don't think, I know we're thinking that this is doggone, yeah, this is Trayvon Diggs. What year? I don't know, 2020? Man, I'm just telling you. We think we want honesty, but we don't want honesty. Because Matt Eberflus can't come out and say some of the things he probably want to say. Y'all blaming me. And these players, some of these players are not good. Matt Eberflus, I guarantee you put him on a lie detector test. He would love to tell us, man, these guys running around here screaming man to man, and ain't none of them hardly ready to play man to man. I bet you he'd like to tell us that, but he can't. You could tell even by this interview, you could tell that Matt came in this thing a little agitated. Let me tell you something. I feel sorry for Matt Eberflus to a degree. And what I mean by that is, you don't think he has social media? He probably turns that off. You don't think he has television? Nobody thinks he has the radio? You don't think Matt Eberflus knows what people are saying about him? Has anybody ever considered that? Imagine hearing people say things about you, knowing full well you can't say what you really want to say because it would either get you fired, it would get you heavily criticized, or you would probably even lose the defensive locker room. But I do think Matt Eberflus is subtly saying, man, some of this is players. Because even Nate Newton alluded to it. Nate Newton even alluded to some of this is players. We can admit it or not, but man, I'm telling you, some of this stuff, man, it's just inexplainable.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. You talk about being on the same page. How do you go about getting your guys on the same page? Is it a simple fix?
Yeah,
no.
It's just just keep working. That's all we know how to do. Just keep grinding, right? And again, I said it before. The solutions are in the room, and just keep working. And we had a good practice yesterday. I was really excited about yesterday's practice across the board, and we're looking for a good one today too.
You talk about getting all 11 guys together on the same page. Is part of maybe the disappointing performance so far, maybe due to some freelancing or guys not collectively being all 11 together?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would just say that guys understanding, right, and guys doing a good job of executing the call. And that to me is important. There's been some mistakes. Obviously, we've seen those. And I own that, right? That I'm the defensive coordinator and I take accountability for that. But being on the same page is everything, right? And the understanding of the defense is everything too. So we got to make sure that we're doing that day in and day out.
I'm just telling you exactly what this man is saying, but he can't say what he can't say what needs to be said or what he wants to say. We talked about this yesterday and the day before. Man, we're going to have to start asking ourselves if these players is there something wrong with these players? Are they not smart enough? Do y'all know we were having the same conversation last year about Mike Zimmer dumbing his defense down? Did Dan Quinn mess his team head up so much? Did Dan Quinn mess with some of these players' heads so much that they can't get Dan Quinn's defense out of their head? I'm telling you, we think that one of the biggest decisions that Jerry has to make this year is whether or not he's going to keep Matt Eberflus. I don't think that's the biggest defensive decision that Jerry Jones is going to have to make. Jerry Jones' biggest decision he's going to have to make, him, Steven, and Brian Schottenheimer, this front office, they're going to have to make a decision. Are they going to continue to go with Donovan Wilson? Are they going to continue to allow Malik Hooker to be on this team? Damone Clark, Jack Sanborn, the Marshawn Nealons of the world, Sam Williams, Dante Fowler. They're really going to have to make a decision if they're going to continue to roll with a lot of these players. Because there is just something fundamentally wrong. That these players, we're talking about the same thing. And again, I don't even know which way to slice this, because we're talking about the same thing that we talked about last year. Different coach, so okay, it's a different scheme, but everything I was told, then this dude's scheme is supposed to be easy. It ain't easy for this team. It ain't easy. And I'm telling us, and I can see some of the comments we're making. I'm just telling you. I agree with some of you saying that maybe you don't believe everything he's saying. Well, I know why you don't believe everything he's saying. Because honestly, Matt Eberflus can't tell us how he truly feels. Y'all don't think Matt Eberflus wants to defend himself? Because I can tell you by the look on his face, the man wants to defend himself. Do you not understand how hard it is to sit in front of a group of people who you know are looking at you like you're the problem? Meanwhile, you're looking at the tape, you're in practice, you're dealing with players, and you know exactly what the true problem is, but you know that if you told who and what the true problem was, you know already that people are going to hate you. I'm just telling us. You can tell, if you have not been able to tell by the look on this man's face this entire interview, he's frustrated too. Because I'm sure he's frustrated as in, why can't these dudes get it? How much you bet he's sitting here saying, y'all don't know how many adjustments that I've actually made every single week? I'm not defending Matt Eberflus, but I'm telling you, you can tell by the things that he's saying, this is what he's thinking. He's saying, man, y'all don't understand, man. I'm telling you, boy, you ever see what they say sometimes you're looking at somebody and they crying for help? Shoot, you better understand what I'm telling you. Man, this man is crying for help. Superstar status, I've mentioned this before, and I think it's a great point. We need to start every level of our defense in order for us to make a run and become a serious contender. Guard, linebacker, defensive tackle, defensive end, linebacker, safety, cornerback. It's the truth. It's actually the truth. Superstar status, if you got three cornerbacks, you need one of those cornerbacks to be a superstar. If you got three linebackers, you need one of those three linebackers to be a superstar, and maybe even two. One a superstar and one on the verge of being a superstar. Your defensive line, you need at least two, and one or either both of those. I would prefer my defensive tackles to be the superstars and just have a good to great edge rusher. But you do need superstar players at every level because they help bring along the rest of the team. And this is where I will agree that Michael Parsons covers up some of the blemishes because of his athleticism. And sometimes he bailed you out because of his pursuit of the quarterback. But let me tell you something. Nate Newton made another point yesterday that I'm gonna tell you that makes even more sense of, it's not just the fact that Michael Parsons covered up some things and we're missing him, but there is something that we're not doing to help out the edge rushers that we have right now. And Nate Newton made a great point that I'm telling y'all, I have not heard anybody make any of the points that Nate Newton made, and they make so much sense. Let me read this. Nisi said Flus does not look smart. Oh, he does look smart and sharp. I wish his look can translate on the field. Listen to the players' suggestions when they come off the field. Now, Nisi, I think this is where some of the issue is. Nisi, we've been talking about this with these players. Now, again, I know four defense coordinators in 6 years. But Matt Eberflus has basically just said, you know what? We're just going to play zone 80% of the time. They can't get zone right. We can't get zone right. I'm just struggling. I'm just struggling with this because I can see where some of this is Matt Eberflus, but I can't ignore that some of this are the players. It's the players. Some of this is the players. And I'm telling you, I'm telling you this week, if it's me, Matt Eberflus, I'm giving Trayvon Diggs exactly what he wants. I'm going to give Trayvon Diggs exactly what he wants. Not for the entire game, but I'm going to give Trayvon Diggs what he wants. I'm not going to throw the game trying to prove a point to Trayvon Diggs, but I tell you this, I'm going to give him what he wants. Okay, bro. It's man to man. It's man to man. I'm giving him his shots. You want man to man? I'm giving it to you. I'm telling y'all right now, Trayvon Diggs cannot play man to man. Not on anything further than 15 yards down the field. He ain't fast enough, and I don't care who that make mad. Trayvon Diggs still don't look 100% right. He ain't ready. He can do what they're asking him to do, but he ain't ready for that man-to-man in the entire game. Man-to-man in the entire game takes a toll on you. A lot of people, man, I'm just telling you, you got to look at both sides of this equation. Do we not understand the demand that man-to-man puts on a cornerback? It's one thing when you're playing a zone. It's another thing when you're running all over the field, following one player the majority of a game. He's zigzagging, he's in, he's out, he's stopping, he's starting, he's running speed routes, he's blocking you. I mean, do we not understand the demand that puts on a cornerback? If anything, zone should help him because the only thing he's covering is a zone. Man, I'm telling you, I could just see both sides of this argument. I can just see both sides of it. Both sides of the argument make sense to me. And I'm telling you, stop thinking that Matt Eberflus is dumb. This dude didn't just come to this team and forget how to coach defense. I do think there is some reluctance on his part, some stubbornness on his part to make maybe the changes to fit these players. But I think he may be saying something even more scary that we are ready to accept. Maybe Eberflus is telling us these players, even with every adjustment I make, these players don't perform. Man, I'm telling you, Boy. Rose said they took the day off. Dank said, saw the tape. Kenny getting blown off the line is a sight to see. Danks, they were going at Kenny Clark, man. And I'm telling you, 2 and 3 people, they going at Kenny Clark. They were determined that Kenny Clark wasn't going to stop him. Poopy D said, gee, they playing with no fire or passion. Shoot, Rod Adams. Rod Adams said, fellas, our entire defense got whooped. They all need to give them checks back, real talk. They got whooped. And I'm telling you, you're looking at this as the defense coordinator, and you're just asking yourself, like, how are these dudes getting whooped? This ain't scheme. This is a butt whooping. And this is why I said it before, I do believe this coaching staff needs a whole nother year together. I don't know what that means for Matt Eberflus, but I still say as good as Brian Schottenheimer's doing, even Brian Schottenheimer needs a whole year as a head coach, because I still say he did not adjust in the Carolina game. I'm telling you, that Carolina game, the Cowboys scored 27 points on the will and the knowledge and the determination of Dak Prescott, the savvy of Dak Prescott, and the skill of one George Pickens. Do we not realize that without a running game, Dak Prescott still put up 27 points? What? Without a running game? Man, I don't want to say Dak Prescott is unstoppable, but I'm going to say it. Dak Prescott is unstoppable almost, man. This dude is unstoppable. And he made Brian Schottenheimer look better than Brian Schottenheimer looked against the Carolina Panthers. Man, they foiled all that old nonsense, all that old power run game. Man, I am not opposed to a power run game. I love a power run game. But if you tell me that you're going to go into a game and if they take away the power run game and you're going to continue to try to knock your head up against the wall, I'm going to tell you something wrong with you. If you don't have enough to make an adjustment, and I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says until I see more than 7 doggone snaps. I don't care what any of these football experts say. You cannot tell me that Jaden Blue is this bad. You can't tell me this. I'm not going to listen to you. It is. Let me let Matt Eberflus finish before I go off on this, because I'm telling you, this thing about Jaden Blue got me just. I want you to know why I'm mad about this Jaden Blue thing. And people who say they know football, you can tell me what you want to. I'm not listening to you. This Jaden Blue thing is insanity to me. It's literal insanity. But let's hear the rest of Matt Eberflus. He almost done. But this man is frustrated.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. You mentioned a good practice yesterday. Who have been some of the guys on that defensive side of the ball that have really been vocal? Because I'm sure it's frustrating with those guys week after week.
Yeah, those guys have always been positive. You know, they're positive, upbeat. They go to work, and those guys are true pros, and they've done that day in and day out. You know, Kenny's, Sally's done wonderful. Deron Bland had a great practice yesterday. So, you know, those guys are working their tails off. And
let me tell you something. Matt Eberflus, I'm just telling y'all, I'm agreeing with some of y'all. If y'all say that y'all are detecting the BS meter, I'm detecting the BS meter, but probably for a whole different reason. There is no player currently on the Cowboys defense. There is no player on that defense currently that anybody on that defense would be listening to vocally wise. Because they're all messing up. There's not a one of them who is, I'm telling you, I guarantee you there's not one of those players who is truly trying to rally that defense. What they going? They don't even know what they're doing. I'm telling you what's going to help this defense out. It is Demarion Overshown. What the Cowboys are missing on defense is a leader. They're missing a leader. The thought process was Micah Parsons was going to be that leader. But then we got into this doggone contract dispute. He stopped communicating with the team. Demarion Overshown was already, I think he was still going to be the leader when he came back. But because now there's a gap between Micah Parsons being gone and Demarion Overshown being injured, there is no true leader. Dante Fowler ain't no leader of that. He ain't leading nothing. Sam Williams, forget about it. Jadeveon Clowney just got there, probably trying. James Houston, no, not yet. Just got there. He literally only been there, about 8 to 10 weeks. The linebacking core. Ain't nobody listening to Jack Sanborn. Ain't nobody listening to Murray. Maurice Leofow. Who's listening to Maurice Leofow? Nobody's listening to Bland, and I'm telling you now, ain't nobody listening to Diggs. Nobody's listening to Donovan Wilson. Nobody's listening to Malik Hooker. No one's listening to Trey Wanye. No, they're not listening to them on a leadership level. They need somebody to step on the defense, and for lack of a better term, they need somebody on the defense to help out Matt Eberflus. Dak Prescott is helping out Brian Schottenheimer exponentially. He making I'm telling you, I'm not going to poo-poo on Brian Schottenheimer, but I'm telling you this, Dak Prescott makes him look good. You know how I know Dak Prescott makes him look good? Dak Prescott made Jason Garrett look good. Dak Prescott made Kellen Moore look good. Dak Prescott made Mike McCarthy look good. Dak Prescott now is making Brian Schottenheimer look good with his execution. That's what we're watching. Matt Eberflus don't have that player on defense, and they took that player away from him, who was Michael Parsons. I don't have a problem with them taking that player away, but there is a void left because Demarion Overshown is not here to fill that void yet. This is where this dude is struggling. And they're asking the question, well, who is the vocal person on the defense? Nobody. We got a whole bunch of people chitter-chattering and talking and saying what they don't like, but we don't have a true leader on the defense that's corralling that defense and is out there saying, this is what we're supposed to be doing. They don't have that person. They don't have that person. Do y'all remember last year? This is one of the things that Mike Zimmer had. Mike Zimmer had Kendricks on that defense to kind of help him to help the players on the field. Matt Eberflus thought Sanborn was going to help, but Sanborn ain't been no doggone help. This dude, look at his face, pure frustration. And I'm not telling you that some of this is not his fault, because some of it is his fault. But we got to give this organization some of the fault, because they all went with a plan of don't show nobody nothing. They all was with this plan. Yeah, man, we're going to be vanilla because we want to make sure that we're going to be able to do some stuff that ain't nobody seen us do. Yeah, you doing some stuff ain't nobody seen you do all right. You getting whooped. Matt Eberflus is frustrated just like anybody else would be, because you're getting whooped and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Because the reality is, the Cowboys got players, and I'm going to bring this up. I posted this on X today after we listened to Matt Eberflus, because the Cowboys got players. As much as people are trying to poo-poo the Dallas Cowboys defense right now, I can remember some of them same people who were just ecstatic about the moves the Cowboys had made. They were ecstatic about it. They were ecstatic about Murray Jr. They were ecstatic about it. Kyer Elam, ecstatic about it. Jack Sanborn, ecstatic about it. People were ecstatic about a lot of these moves. And all of a sudden now, man, I'm telling you, that's why I keep my memory. I don't have the best memory. I don't have the best memory. But I can tell you what I do have. I have enough memory to remember how people were acting when all of these things were transpiring. I'm just telling you the truth. They missed. They missed on some of these players. And I'm going to show you some of these players they missed on. But I'm going to tell you, Eberflus is in a crazy situation. Because I can see some of the comments. Daniel Lim, you said Flus loves zone way too much. How about he don't love zone? How about Matt Eberflus? What if Matt Eberflus is telling us, man, y'all don't understand. We don't have the players that can do even Daniel, if he loves zone so much, can anybody explain to me why we can't even do zone? We can't do zone? I keep being told that zone is the easiest defense that you can play. I'm just telling y'all, you don't have to accept what I'm telling you. But Matt Eberflus is frustrated too. Matt Eberflus is frustrated too. This dude don't have that player on defense that can help him pull this defense together. He don't have it. He don't have it. And I don't know what to tell you. You don't have to like it, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah, but as a group, it was a good day.
Where did you see the issue stem from in run defense on Sunday?
Yeah, run defense is simple, right? It's about being where you're supposed to be, right, in your gaps, right, and doing it with violence and great technique, and that's important that you do that, So
I just want y'all to hear what this man keeps saying. He's just saying, being in your gaps, being where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to do. Do you hear what he's saying? They were not doing it. Go look at the tape. The defensive line got whooped. Carolina, I don't care what you say about scheme. I'm not going to disagree with the scheme is off because it's obviously not fitting the players. But how do you get whooped like that on the defensive line? Two things can be true, guys. Two things can be true. Matt Eberflus' scheme is not good. Matt Eberflus may not even be a good defensive coordinator. I'm still confused with the success that they said he had because I don't really see it as success as much as some people do. But I think something else can be true too. You got to tell me how Matt Eberflus' scheme got something to do with the Carolina Panthers offensive line whooping the Cowboys defensive line. Whooped them. Just telling you, man. I'm just telling you, we can take it or leave it. They got whooped. That's why he's bringing up physicality. That's why he's bringing up being where they're supposed to be. That's why he's bringing up gaps, because he's saying, man, these dudes got whooped. How do you fix the defensive line getting whooped? How do you fix it? How was that scheme? They got whooped. I don't know. I don't know what it. I'm just telling you, man. I know where some of the frustration is with this dude. I do.
We just got to keep working that way. And again, we got our challenge ahead of us this week.
Yeah. Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Jerry Jones was out here on Tuesday talking about maybe you guys playing more man. What are your thoughts on his comments and kind of the GM or owner injecting himself in that way?
Yeah, it's to me, it's we're working to find solutions. Is that one of the solutions? We're working to it. We're working to.
How do y'all answer that question? I said when Jerry Jones made that comment, I said, that's a crazy comment. That Jerry Jones basically said, nah, we going more man. He said, we going more man. Now he done put Matt Eberflus on the spot, and Matt Eberflus like, what the what? I'm telling you. Boy, this is... In Dak we trust. I'm just telling you, in Dak we trust. If y'all don't think Matt Eberflus is frustrated, I don't know what else to tell you. Matt Eberflus, and I told y'all this yesterday, when Clarence Hill first asked him about stopping the run like nobody had done before, and Matt Eberflus said, players. You need players to be able to do that. Now, he complimented the safeties. Y'all like the safeties and blah, blah, blah. Nah, bro. Nah, y'all needed players. They went and got you the players. Problem is, those players didn't pay you now. Hey, Reese so short. Say it again. Blink twice if you need help. Boy, I'm telling you. Too Tall Jones, say it. Too Tall Jones said, stop drafting cripples also, please. Hey. Savon Revel Jr., monkey wrench. Monkey wrench in the plan. Savon Revel Jr. ain't right. I think he had a huge setback during his rehab. Savon Revel Jr. is not right. Man, I'm telling you, this is a rock and hard place. I don't know what else to tell us. True text, and he said folks cannot handle the truth. I'm just TME greatness. I think you're saying something right. The defense needs an entire makeover and reboot. It does. It does. It needs an entire reboot. There are a few players on this defense right now, and I'm not going to talk about it this moment, but there are very few players that I would keep on this defense going forward after this season. You can't see. This is why I keep saying people who keep talking about, and I ain't calling nobody out, but I've just seen these messages out there of people saying, forget those picks. I'm going to show you why the Cowboys, there are no amount of trades that the Cowboys could do this season to fix this defense. And the operative word is fix. And the Cowboys would be dumb to give up second and first round picks for rentals and then put themselves in a situation to where now not only did they give up a first or a second round pick for this particular player, now they can't negotiate a rookie deal for this player. They have to negotiate a veteran deal or a big time contract for this player, which we all know the Cowboys are not going to be able to bring in an additional 3 or 4 players and give them big time deals. I'm telling you, all roads are leading to George Pickens. The Cowboys are going to make it their business to sign George Pickens before they sign anybody else. They got Ty Smith out of the way. George Pickens is the next big fish. And they're not bringing in somebody else. They're not bringing in somebody else on a 1-year rental only to have to turn back around and be dealing with their contract the same time they're dealing with George Pickens' contract. It ain't happening. It is not happening. They're not going to do it. Bernard Fields said, Flus might self-admit himself by tomorrow. I don't blame him. Danny Becker, and see, this is the problem that Matt Eberflus has, Danny Becker. The problem that Matt Eberflus have, that even if Matt Eberflus is right, he don't have the time because Dak Prescott is 32, going to be 33 years old next year. He don't have the time for it to be 2 or 3 years. Now, the Cowboys got to figure it out next year. It can't be figured out. And really, they got to get it figured out this year so they don't go into next year with the nonsense. They got to get it figured out this year. Gwen Bowden, she said, hey, G, Diggs will get blown off the field trying to play man-to-man. And I'm going to tell you, Gwen Bowden, there are some people that you can't even tell that. They'll argue you down that Trayvon Diggs can still go head-to-head with Malik Neighbors. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. But I tell you this, Gwen Bowden, I'm going to give him what he wants this week. I'm going to give him what he wants this week. You're going to play man-to-man, you're going to play man-to-man. And I'm not going to put him in man-to-man to fail. Because the only way the Cowboys can go man-to-man, they're going to have to send 5 or 6. There is no way the Cowboys can go man-to-man and rush 4. They can't do it. They will not survive doing it. But I'm going to tell you some more about this in a moment with Nate Newton.
Kind of the GM or owner injecting himself in that way.
Yeah, and they're asking him about what does he feel about Jerry Jones injecting himself into the game plan. See, these are the kinds of questions people have to understand. What is Matt Eberflus supposed to say? It's bull junk. I don't like Jerry interjecting himself. I don't like Jerry revealing things that we might be doing. What is he supposed to say? Pfft, boy.
It's like the changes, it can be 10, 15%. What have your meetings been like with him? And do you kind of agree on how much could change in terms of
he and I have been just solution oriented, just finding solutions and, meeting with him, meeting with the defense. It's important that we just find solutions. It's been positive. And we're just working to get it done.
Ed Warder, WFAA. What's been the value of having Shoddy more involved with the defense?
Just offensive perspective. offense, what he sees offensively. I think that's always important. And this is not the first time. This has been going on since, day one, when we got together in the spring, just offensive perspective, how he sees it, his opinions on it. I think it's important that you always take that in.
And you've been with a number of different franchises and had.
Yeah, Ron Mack, he said, I get your point, G. Ron Hanna said, no, G, you're right. His knee is not, you're right, he's not right with his knee. And man-to-man puts more stress on your knees. Ron Hanna, tremendous. People do not understand. Playing a wide receiver, one-on-one, tremendous stress on your legs. At least in zone, you can kind of do a little bit of backpedaling, a little bit of side-to-side stuff. Shoot, man-to-man, man, it's a dogfight from start to finish. It's a dogfight from start to finish. It's tough playing man-to-man. Lock and D said the whole defense looks hurt. King Kong, he said there's no real chain of command in this organization, players to front office. I think that's more true on the defensive side of the ball than it is on the offensive side of the ball. I think Shotty's got a very, very good handle on the offense. I think he's got it mostly on the defense, but they're still sometimes saying some things out there in the court of public opinion. Roy Bell said, watching Eberflus report, he doesn't even sound confident. He's a dead man walking. Woo! I agree with you on that. I don't think he has any confidence in the players. See, I don't think the players have confidence in his scheme. I don't think he has confidence in his players. How do I know? Because he's playing zone. When you're playing zone 95% of the time in the game, you're basically saying that you don't trust. You don't trust these players. Frederick Johnson said zone is more mentally taxing. Odd discipline, zone coverage rules, man coverage more physically demanding. And Frederick, that's what I was alluding to earlier. Maybe they're not there maybe they're not there mentally for this thing. They can't do it. Incredulous. What's going on with you? He said Jerry should have sought help before the season started. Jerry Too Late Jones, bigger than Dallas. Incredulous. I'll tell you this. I think he did do some things before the season started. They just didn't pan out. They just didn't pan out. Tiger Dame, he said no dogs on defense. Now, Tiger Dame, I will say there are some dogs on defense. Kenny Clark is a dog. I'm going to still give Oso Digizua some dog. Oso Digizua is a dog. Kenny Clark is a dog. I think James Houston is a dog. They got some dogs. Damarion Overshown is a dog when he returns. They got some dogs. But the problem is what you said second. They don't have a leader of them dogs. Michael Parsons was supposed to be the leader of them dogs. They let Michael Parsons, they traded Michael Parsons. The void is left. Damarion Overshown will fix it. But they still got 3-4 weeks before we come back. Still got 3 or 4 weeks. So it's just going to still continue to be tough until we can get that dude back in here. Darren Posey, what's going on?
Had success and done first-year installs of your defense. Have you ever been in a situation where it's performing like this 6 weeks into a season, that there are fundamental?
Oh, the numbers would not say that. Yeah, the numbers wouldn't say.
Now, see this question right here? This question right here is some bull junk. This question, and I'm going to play it again. This question is the kind of question that will draw a line between you and your team. How you going to ask this man, have you ever been on a team that it took this long to get your system? What? Man, I'm mad at Eberflus. I'd have said, bro, next question. This is a crazy, divisive question. Let's do it again.
Been with a number of different franchises and had success and done first-year installs of your defense. Have you ever been in a situation where it's performing like this 6 weeks into a season?
What? This is why I'm telling y'all. What is he supposed to say? And even the answer that he gives, it's borderline dangerous. The numbers would say not. Yeah, let's just go ahead and say it. No, I've never been on a team where it took till week 7 and we're still trying to figure out what are we doing.
Fundamentally,
The numbers would not say that. Yeah, the numbers wouldn't say that. But hey, we are where we are. So we got to be where our feet are, and it's important that we do that. You can't look at the past. This is where we are right now, and we're working to take a step this week. Like I said a couple weeks ago, we took a step. Now we got to take another step. So it's
Two-step
important
backwards.
that we do that.
See, I think he should have stayed with the second part of the answer and just said, I'm not talking about my past. This is where I am now. And the goal right now is to get better. Boy, that's a heck of a question right there. That's a divisive question.
Coach Ali Jawadi, Dallas Cowboys. You've had matchups in the past with Cliff Kingsbury. What about from the past that you've taken away that you got to be, ready for as you go into this week's matchup?
Yeah, it's an explosive offense, right? It's a wide open offense. Obviously they're doing a heck of a job running the football. It's important that you have, your pieces in place. It's important that you mix your calls. You got to be able to do that. And he's done a really good job there with the young quarterback, and it's going to be a big challenge. But you got to really mix it up on him.
Todd.
They can handle it.
Ezraku still.
Let me tell you something about the Commanders if you hadn't paid attention. I've watched them play like 3 times this year, I think. The Commanders is a strange team from the perspective of they don't really have a lot of superstar players. I mean, when you start talking about like players on their offense and players on their defense, they don't really have a lot of household names. I mean, Jaden Daniels is, he's the only household name on the team. Everybody else is just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, him. But that's the kind of team they are. And I think that's one of the reasons why people overvalued them. They are a team that is really built upon Dan Quinn's culture, the way Dan Quinn does things. They have performed in some situations that have absolutely been surprising for a lot of people. They got the 12-4 record last year, but I can tell you without even blinking, what were they last year? 12-4 or some crazy number like that. I got a strange feeling this year that I can say with confidence they're not going to finish 12-4. They're not going to finish 12-4. 10-7. 11-6 would be great. Or 12. I think they were 12-5 last year. 11-6 would be an amazing accomplishment for that team this year. Jaden Daniels was starting to see some of that sophomore stuff come in. It'll be incredible if they win 10 games this season. If the Cowboys can stop the Commanders from running the ball, the Cowboys should still be able to do some things defensively against the Washington Commanders. But I can tell you this, if they don't stop these boys from running, if they don't put a spy on Jaden Daniels, it's going to be a long day. And we might see another 40-plus point game in order for the Cowboys to win. Because I don't think their defense is going to be able to stop Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Kevontae Turpin may be back on the field, Javonte Williams, Tyler Booker may be back on the field. And if they can even try to figure out a way to get Jaden Blue mixed into this game, man, I'm telling you, the Cowboys are probably going to score quite a few points on the Commanders. Problem is, if the Cowboys don't do what they're supposed to do, Commanders going to score quite a few points on the Dallas Cowboys, especially from the point of Jaden Daniels, because he's dangerous with his legs. And if the Cowboys don't spy him out, if they don't run some blitzes on him, and I'm talking about they better run quite a few. If they don't, it's going to be a long day. J-Rock said if that's the case, Diggs has to go $20 million for 2026. Oh, yeah, he gone already. Yeah, he already gone. I think he knows he's gone. He won't be there past this year. But I'm telling you, man, Matt Eberflus, that was a very bad question they asked him earlier about has it ever taken this long? That's a divisive question, man.
Looking for his first sack. Here's a guy who led the nation in sacks a year ago. Do you see a guy pressing to try and get one, or how do you think he's done so far?
No, he's had some good performances. He's had pressures. Obviously, he had a huge cause fumble, that we needed to recover last week, and that was a big-time play.
There's a Raku baller.
He keeps improving every single week. He really does, and it's going to come. It's going to come because he's really bringing it, in practice, and he's done a great job in the games, and he'll get home. That's coming. So love the way he's working, love the guy, and he's done well.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio 105.3 The Fan. You mentioned the Commanders' run game. Jaden Daniels has nearly 200 of those running yards, yet he missed a couple of games in the past couple of games that he's come back. Are they doing anything differently or pulling back a little bit?
Yeah, I don't see anything differently, with him. I think they're running their offense, and I think they're doing the same thing, the way it looks to me.
Joe.
Obviously, with the performances are like they've been, disappointment and potentially, frustration could be with the players too. How do you, kind of as the leader in that room, go about doing a temperature check and just seeing how everyone's doing?
Just visit with guys. Visit with the leaders. It's important that you always do that. See where they are. And I understand their frustration from last week. The week before we took a step, but I do think that we have to consistently take steps. And I understand the frustration from those guys. And and I'm frustrated too. So it's
we can
important that
tell.
we move that aside, right, and then focus on the solutions, at hand. So it's important that we do that, and those guys are all in on that.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Guys,
and I understand the frustration.
I'm just being 100% honest with you on Matt Eberflus. I'm just being 100% real with you on Eberflus. Eberflus can't answer all those questions they were asking him. Eberflus can't answer those questions. Eberflus can't give honest answers to those questions. He can't. You don't think that when they asked him, like, what do you think about Jerry Jones saying that y'all are going to run? You don't think he would have, I don't know if he would have loved to have said it, but you don't think he would have wanted to say, I think it's bull junk. I don't think no GM/owner should have anything to say about what we're doing on the field. That's left to me, and that's left to Brian Schottenheimer and myself. Brian Schottenheimer overall the whole team. I think he would love to say that.
Frustration from those guys.
But it ain't gonna happen. It's just not going to happen. I'm just telling you, man. It's just not going to happen. And so I'm telling you, Quasi Blake, I'm telling you, he said facts, G, no leader. They left Matt Eberflus with no leader. Now, when Demarion Overshown comes back, Demarion Overshown is going to help him with that piece. Well, let me show you what I posted on X before we get to Nate Newton. Let me show you what I posted on X. A lot of people be saying stuff, and I just don't think that people sometimes are thinking when they're saying certain things. I know people are saying things out of frustration, but some of the things that people say, they're not true. They're not, it's just not true. And let me see here. I want to pull up where I was today. Okay, so I want you to look at this. I posted this over here on X. So over here on X, I was responding to somebody talking about that the Joneses didn't do anything in the offseason. But they did do something. The problem is with the Cowboys, because do y'all not remember we were talking about how active the Joneses were during this doggone offseason? We were ecstatic about how many things, how many moves the Cowboys made, and so much of it was defensive minded. They were trying to build the defense. Well, the problem is if we look at everything they did, and the Cowboys did a lot, problem is they got a lot of misses. They actually missed on players that people didn't think they were going to miss on. James Houston, they hit. Solomon Thomas, they hit. The misses. Look at the amount of misses and disappointments. Misses. Dante Fowler. It's been a miss so far. Kyer Elam. Miss. Jack Sanborn. Miss. Kenneth Murray Jr. Miss. Peyton Turner. Miss. Perrion Winfrey. He ain't even played. Miss so far. Disappointments. Sam Williams. Sam Williams is being one of the biggest disappointments, I guarantee you, for the front office. When they're discussing the Michael Parsons trade, you have got to be discussing, okay, like who do we have left that can kind of fill some of the void? Because I told y'all before, you don't replace Michael Parsons with one player. It takes multiple players to replace a player like Michael Parsons. Okay, so we got Sam Williams. We went and got Dante Fowler. We drafted Donovan Ezeraku. We got James Houston. James Houston is panning out. But Marshawn Nealon, I forgot to put Marshawn Nealon on the list. Marshawn Nealon has been a disappointment. When you think about all these players the Cowboys thought were going to make a difference on defense, they're not making a difference. They're just not making a difference. When you think about Donovan Wilson, Trayvon Diggs, I didn't even put Damone Clark on there. I forgot to put Damone Clark. I mean, he's one of the disappointments. It's not that the Cowboys didn't make moves. It's the fact that the Cowboys, it's the fact that the moves they made didn't turn out. I forgot to even put Kenny Clark on here. He was a hit. Kenny Clark has been a hit for the defense. And you think about the injuries, and this is why I got Diggs on the disappointment list. Diggs, he's back early. He still don't look right. Injured. Demarion Overshown, injured. Savon Revel Jr., injured. Deron Bland, injured. This is all defensively. This is all defensively where the Cowboys missed and the disappointments. And if this is the disappointments and the miss, can anybody figure out now where the problems are? Defense. Defense. They missed. They brought in all these former number one draft picks. I mean, that was literally the theme of the free agency thing for the Cowboys. It was the ex first round draft picks, Peyton Turner, Kyrie Elam. I mean, it was just this whole mixed bag of, man, we got these guys, they're coming in, they're going to be really good. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And so when these players are all misses, trading Micah Parsons doesn't help it. It doesn't help it. And I still say the defense wouldn't have been, it'd have been marginally better. But I've already shown you the proof. This happened to the Cowboys last year with Mike Zimmer. Man, you go back and look at those first 4 games with Micah Parsons, they were absolute trash. Cowboys got tore up with Micah Parsons. Tore up with Micah Parsons. The only thing I could tell you was we probably wouldn't be torn up as bad with Micah Parsons, but we would still be getting torn up. One player don't fix this defense. One player don't fix this defense. And this is one of the reasons why when people start talking all this stuff about, yeah, man, forget those picks. Go out and do what? And do what with them? Has anybody ever thought about this? There are narrowly what teams in their right mind are going to give up franchise players to the Dallas Cowboys? Who? It just baffles my mind how we allow people to make us mad, telling us who the Cowboys ought to go get, that if we're really thinking logically, as if these other teams are just going to say, yeah, man, you can have this player. We don't want him. What are we talking about? Folk ain't, every time we get a team, yeah, man, they got 19 losses. It's a fire sale. Who? The parody. Let me tell you something. The NFL, I don't know how they're doing this, I just find it to be strange that now that betting is in the NFL, how the parity has risen since we've got, I'm just saying. The parity is insane. The Buffalo Bills lost their last 2 games. The Kansas City Chiefs are what? 3-3? The Baltimore Ravens have fallen off the map. The Philadelphia Eagles seem like they're in a downward spiral. Where are the definitive dominant teams in the league this year? This is why the Cowboys are going to be in it. As much as people are going to say the Cowboys aren't making the playoffs, the Cowboys are going to be in it until the end because the parity is crazy. When you think about the NFC East, when's the last time it's been a repeat NFC East winner? The Cowboys have the best offense and the worst defense. If the Cowboys can improve that defense even to 25, I think the Cowboys could win the NFC East going away. They all are going to play the same teams in some combination or another. Man, this thing with the Cowboys is going to be, this thing in the NFC East, I mean, it's like probably the first team to the first team to 11 games. And I could even say maybe even the first team to 10 games wins the division. It's going to be that much parity in the league this year. So for everybody talking about the Cowboys don't have a chance, they have more than a chance. All the Cowboys need to do is just keep playing. That's all they need to do. Just keep playing. Just keep playing and keep trying to improve. I know it's crazy, man. It's week 7 and we're still talking about improving. But that's all we can do. That's all we can do. And I don't think there's a fix. There's not a fix for this defense, so don't get in your feelings about it. There's not a fix. You can't fix this defense. I don't care how many trades you make. You can't fix this defense, but you can improve it. You can improve it. I do believe you can improve it. And where the first improvement has to come is that they have to solidify who are the true starters on defense. Stop all this dumb, this rotational dumb crap. It's not working. It's really not working. It is not working the way that they want it to work. No, settle on who are the best guys and go with those guys, and you sprinkle these other guys in wherever you can. But they gotta start saying that, man, who are the best players on this squad? And that's who we're going with. All right, so let's get into this thing with Nate Newton.
Here we go.
You want to talk about somebody who gives I just think everything Nate Newton said that's wrong with this defense, if you listen to it, I think it's right. I do. Jamalism, appreciate that super chat. Jamalism said maybe Will McClay is the issue. Okay, Jamalism, let me bring something up since you brought up Will McClay. And this is why I don't like this talk about Jaden Blue. Why would they draft Jaden Blue if they're not going to use him? Why? Do we not realize that coaches don't control the draft? Jimmy controlled the draft, but players in Dallas coaches in Dallas don't control the draft. They have some influence in the draft. They don't have control of the draft. And a lot of teams are like this. The coach gets some input, but it's the GM. It's the GM, the ownership, they're all kind of involved in selecting players. And there are times that whether the coach likes it or not, the front office is going to draft a player for the sole purpose of, coach, we want you to play this player. It is dumb to me for the front office to draft a player and the team says, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, whatever the case may be, they say, well, I don't like that player. So let me ask y'all a question. Everybody's talking about trying to judge Jaden Blue, talking about he's no good. So if I don't want a certain player, I'm the play caller. Y'all draft a player I don't like. How likely is it, do you think, that I'm going to put that player in a position to succeed? How likely do you think that is? How likely is it if you draft me a player that I don't like? How likely is it that I'm going to try to sell that player to you as he's a great player? How likely is it? Some people don't understand biases. If I got a bias against a player, if I got a bias against a certain player that, let's say, the front office just drafts and I don't like him, you think I'm going to try to keep him? You think I'm going to do everything I can do to develop them? You think I'm going to try to use their skills to make them look better so that I can look wrong and the ownership can look right? Prime example, Mozzie Smith. Cowboys drafted Mozzie Smith. Front office drafted Mozzie Smith. Dan Quinn, not a big fan of Mozzie Smith. Mike Zimmer seemed to be somewhat of a fan of Mozzie Smith. Matt Eberflus, not a fan of Mozzie Smith. Look at the performance. I can tell you now, some of Mozzie Smith's performance isn't just because he's bad. Some of Mozzie Smith's performance is simply because the dude has no more confidence. I don't think he has any confidence left anymore. Not on the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think Mozzie Smith has any confidence left anymore. And if y'all think, because I understand what kind of running back that Brian Schottenheimer likes. But if the front office drafts a certain type of player, now, me, this would be a different story with me. I would literally tell him, no, you need to show me what Jaden Blue is. You show me what he is or you show me what he isn't. And I don't want you putting him in situations to where he's going to look his worst. I want you to put him in a situation to where he looks his best. And then if he doesn't do good, then I'll believe it. Y'all can tell me, people can tell me anything they want to about Jaden Blue. That dude didn't forget how to play football when he came to the Cowboys. Jaden Blue didn't forget how to play football when he came to the Cowboys. And it is what it is. Hey, Cowboys got him now. Cowboys got him now. They need to work with him. And again, Brian Schottenheimer, if he's going to be multiple, well, then show us that you can not only be multiple as in working with backs like Javonte Williams. Phil Maffa is basically the same back as Javonte Williams. You have Javonte Williams. You got Javonte Williams. Phil Maffa, and I don't even know what's going on with him from an injury perspective. There is not even nearly any kind of talk about this man even being ready anytime soon. But they have Malik Davis. If you go and get another Javonte Williams, how does that help you? You're still in the same situation that if you can't run on the edges, how does that help you? Because I'm telling you, there are just some teams, especially with the teams we're playing, they're just not going to let you run between the tackles like you want to. They're just not going to let you do it. So if you can't figure out a way to get on the edges, well, then you're going to be lost. And you know how I know this is a bunch of bull junk? Anybody want to know why CeeDee Lamb is hurt? because we tried to use him as a running back to get him on the edges because we know doggone well we can't get Javonte Williams on the edges. That's why we had CeeDee Lamb doing it. We can't get him on the edges. That's not his running style. If you want that acclimated into your game, why are you using CeeDee Lamb? Why are you using Kevontae Turpin when you got a running back that has that kind of speed? I'm telling you, we're making this kid look bad. I'm not telling you that Jaden Blue is a superstar running back, but doggone it, we're making this dude look bad because we're saying that he don't fit what Brian Schottenheimer wants to do. Doesn't seem like you're being multiple to me. If you can't, I'm quoting Brian Schottenheimer. We wouldn't have drafted Jaden Blue if we didn't think he could be a starter. Brian Schottenheimer fell in love with Javonte Williams and that bruising style of running, and that's just what it is. Dominique said it's a load of horse crap that Jerry would even answer that question. I laughed at it yesterday, Dominique. He's not the head coach, nor is he the DC. But his ego, and arrogance thinking he knows football and it's annoying. Now, Dominique, we saw the Netflix special. Jerry Jones has always tried to prove that he has football knowledge. I believe Jerry does have some football knowledge. He just doesn't have it on the level that he wants to have it. I think that's the problem. He don't have it on the level that he wants to have it. And I still say where Jerry is broken as far as it applies to building teams. He doesn't understand how smart Jimmy Johnson was. It wasn't just talent with Jimmy Johnson. It was mentality. And what they are struggling with is that they can't get this mentality on this team that they want. Because Brian Schottenheimer said they were going to be physical. Well, they haven't been physical on defense. The defensive line has been physical at times, but the last two games, boy, especially this Carolina Panthers game, they got whooped. Eric Griffin, what's going on? He said Eberflus is responsible, period. He took the job. He knows Jerry, and he knows the players and the results from the previous season. I get what you're saying there. It's the same thing I say about Brian Schottenheimer. I said it the other day on X. I don't necessarily feel sorry for Brian Schottenheimer because he took the job knowing exactly what it was. He took the job knowing exactly what it was. So, can't feel sorry for him from that perspective. And so that's why I say I give Schotty credit because I do think that Brian Schottenheimer is doing a very good job. I think he's doing a very good job of holding it together. He's holding it together better as a team than I've seen many. So I think he's doing a very good job. Marvin May said this is why we don't give up any draft capital. Man, I'm telling you, Marvin, people don't want to accept this truth. The Cowboys can't fix this. They can't fix this defense. They can't fix it at the trade deadline. That's crazy. And people saying stuff like, you don't care if they're giving up first round and second round draft picks for rentals? Man, you can tell me anything you want to. Those will be the same people who will be complaining next year when them 1 year rentals are gone because the Cowboys aren't going to pay even two of them. All roads are leading to George Pickens. Jaden Justin, this is exactly where I am. This is exactly where I am. Can we just get better? Can we get to 25? I don't even need 20 no more. Can y'all just get us to 25? Just don't let us be the worst defense. Can you get us to 25? Can this front office, Matt Eberflus, Brian Schottenheimer, can you get the defense to number 25? Now, the good news is even Mike Nolan towards the end of that season, and I'm not sure who he played, but Mike Nolan got him back to the top 20. I think he got him to around 20 if I'm not mistaken. But Guys, I'm telling you, I'm not alleviating this dude, Matt Eberflus, for any of this, but I can tell you this. Some of this is the players. Some of this is the players too. It is. Some of this is the players, and that's just the facts. Now, this is why when you listen to Nate Newton, this is why I say Nate Newton has such a very balanced take on this, because Nate Newton is basically saying some of the same things that I'm saying about the players. He's blaming the coaching staff. But the point he made about the coaching staff is a perfect explanation. You decided to wait until the first game of the season to start trying to implement a defense that you should have been focusing hard on the entire training camp. Check out Nate Newton.
Of communication versus now individual ability.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel with Trayvon Diggs against their one? I wouldn't feel great right now. Hell, I wouldn't feel great with Bland right now. Do you feel great with Kenneth Murray or Sanborn or even Shamar James? We love how hard he hits, but is he...
He's still learning. You can tell Shamar James is still learning responsibility.
So it's almost like a pick your poison in a bad way.
The thing...
Nate,
did y'all hear that question? We're talking about the cornerbacks play better in man-to-man. So are we comfortable with the safeties playing man-to-man? Are we comfortable with the linebackers playing man-to-man? Because Nate Newton is explaining you don't just get to put the corners in man-to-man. Everybody has to be in man-to-man. Or is anybody comfortable with that? I'm not even comfortable with Bland. I mean, I'm not even comfortable with Trayvon Diggs being in not anything that's past 15 yards. I think instinctively he can match up well with anything 15 or 15 or less. But when you get past 15, Diggs ain't got them legs no more. Anybody who's saying he is lying to themselves.
Newton in studio.
Yeah, the thing that I said from day one, when everybody was blasting the secondary, and I talked to a couple of guys that play in the secondary. They say my job normally, if you're going man, is to make that guy stutter on the line. That gives your defensive line a chance to get a step, to go into his work. Well, if your D-line is getting no pressure, because on the D-line, I'm trying to get a step in order to make this quarterback move. I'm trying to flash as quick as I can. If I can get a quick escape, I'm knocking this quarterback, not sacking him, but knocking him off his target. I'm knocking him off his spot where he want to sit up at. And so that gives the cornerback or safety a chance to recover if he's made a mistake. But if he's on top of this guy, now it gives him a chance to shut him down and to reset yourself for a big play. None of this is happening.
This dude, Nate Newton, just made a point I've heard nobody make. Are y'all listening to the point that Nate Newton made? Have y'all noticed how many times we've complained about the Cowboys giving wide receivers free releases off the line of scrimmage? Nate Newton just said something that of all the football gurus, I haven't heard anybody say this. But Nate Newton is making a powerful point that if the cornerbacks can jam the wide receivers, that gives the linemen, that gives the edge rushers maybe a half a second to get a step or make a step on that team offensive tackles. And if they can get that step, and if they can get closer to that quarterback, and then those cornerbacks, after they get that jam, then they can stay on top of that receiver, they're both helping each other. One of the biggest problems that I think we've all been complaining about are these free releases that the Dallas Cowboys give these wide receivers off the line. I mean, they're literally playing 5 yards off, 6 yards off, 8 yards off. Why? We've been talking about this all season. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? I can even understand playing zone. You telling me you can't get any jams at the line of scrimmage in zone? Let me back this up. I'm telling you, Nate Newton is making a point that I haven't heard anybody make. It's a powerful point.
Because on the D-line, I'm trying to get a chance to get a step. I said from day one, when everybody was blasted in the secondary, you know, and I talked to a couple of guys that play in the secondary. They say my job normally, if you're going man, is to make that guy stutter on the line. That gives your defensive line a chance to get a step, to go into his work. Well, if your D-line is getting no pressure, because on the D-line, I'm trying to get a step in order to make this quarterback move. I'm trying to flash as quick as I can. If I can get a quick escape, I'm knocking this quarterback, not sacking him, but knocking him off his target. I'm knocking him off his spot where he want to sit up at. And so that gives the cornerback or safety a chance to recover if he's made a mistake. But if he's on top of this guy, now it gives him a chance to shut him down and to reset yourself for a big play. None of this is happening.
It's a powerful point. It's a powerful point he's making. They're not helping each other. It's a powerful point.
So, you know, Bobby will tell you every week I was like, wow, man, when are they going to involve the defensive line? Well,
70s fans said,
what happened is we went
and
and played a Jets team that don't have a quarterback. This is not a National Football League quarterback. Justin Fields is only an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So now you fool yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then we come to a team that runs the ball, that has a quarterback that can throw the ball if he gets time. And Bryce Young, that's what happened. Now our defense disappeared, the front end and the back end, and our linebackers.
So if you were to go back and just change, as I said, we're running man now. Is there not going to be an X amount of week learning curve on that? And it just it resets the whole clock.
Yeah.
See, Nate and these guys are making us some great points because you can't, and this is why I think even Eberflus is saying the changes will be more subtle than just jarring, because you can't flip a defense that you've been running 90% zone on. You just can't flip them to say, now we're going to run 60% man. You're going to have to pick and choose when you do this. I'm telling you, man, Nate Newton is making a lot of sense in this whole discussion. Matt Eberflus is at fault. He even said it himself. He's the defensive coordinator. That's his job. But the players, there is some fault to be shared with the players too. Some of this stuff is fundamental. It's lack of execution, lack of physicality. It's like Poobie D said, lack of fire and passion defensively. And I don't know. I can't even put my finger on what's going on with that. Michael H. said they lost their leader when D-Law left. Yeah, I could get that too. Yeah. Michael talked a big game. Yeah, D-Law was a true leader. I'll give that to D-Law. I think Overshown's going to be it too. I think he will help them to I think he'll help Eberflus, because I think he's going to be more of a coach on the field. I think he's going to help Eberflus. But that's still about three to 4 games away. I think the Cowboys open up his 21-day window probably next week after next. But Nate is killing it.
Yes, if you go change this now and say, hey, man, you corners lock up outside. Now you saying instead of the linebackers dropping back to a zone, do you have one off the end of line, tight end, a la slot receiver? Do you have 2 coming out of the backfield? You still got to communicate. You still got to open your mouth. Hey, I got 2, 23 in the backfield. Hey, I got him. You still got to. Now, but what if somebody motion across?
Yeah.
What if somebody motion across and
Now, y'all might, I don't know if y'all remember, but we talked about the New York Giants game, and when I was showing you some of the stuff that the New York Giants was doing, that's where the New York Giants killed the Cowboys, is when they would send a player in motion. They sent a player in motion, lined them up somewhere else. And that would be, it would be like, that would be the main player the Cowboys would miss. We saw it this week with Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle just broke out of the backfield wide open and got the touchdown that he caught against the Cowboys. This is where they're getting I'm like, man, this stuff with the Cowboys right now, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's all I can tell you. It's crazy. And again, I think some of this is a combination. The regulator, he says, I hate to admit it, but we're going nowhere as long as Eberflus is defense coordinator. I want to keep hope, but if our defense doesn't win a shootout all season, if our offense don't win a shootout all season, we're done. Simple as that. But the regulator. So let me ask you a question. How much better do you think another defensive coordinator would be doing with this defense? How much better would they be doing? Do we really think that there's another defensive coordinator that would be dominating with this group of players? I don't think so. They got some fundamental problems. I'm not saying that it's not his fault. I'm not alleviating that. But I'm not going to sit here and act like that if he wasn't the defensive coordinator, that the defense would be tearing it up. I'm not going there because I don't think they would be. I think some of these players, we've had some of these players too long. Damone Clark, too long. Trayvon Diggs just ain't the same. I don't care what anyone says. He's not the same. Malik Cook or Donovan Wilson. We were talking about them getting cooked last year. We were all shocked when Matt Eberflus gave his first interview, and he was talking about he liked the safeties in Dallas. We were scratching our heads on this. Like, what is he seeing we're not seeing? Cowboys let Jordan Lewis go. Cowboys let D-Law go. But they were still left with, and I think they should have kept Jay Lou, if anybody. But they're left with some players that they're just been here too long. They need more, they need almost a total turnover. I'm keeping Osa. I'm keeping James Houston. I'm keeping Kenny Clark. But the linebackers, I'm keeping Demarion Overshown. I'm keeping Maurice Leofau. Cornerbacks, I don't have no choice but to keep Elam. Safeties, I'm keeping Wanye Thomas, Marquise Bell. All that other stuff, turn it over. Turn it over. Turn it over. All the rest of it, turn it over. Something's just not, man, I'm telling you, man, this ain't all. I'm telling you, yes, the responsibility is the DC. But again, I think this guy is telling us I'm making adjustments. They're just not getting it. They're just not getting it. Jay Recruiter, he said it's not the players. They hate the scheme. And a part of that means, Jay Recruiter, it probably is some of the players then if they hate the scheme, because how good are they going to perform in the scheme if they hate it? I brought that point up the other day too. I think we're watching players that hate the scheme. But I also think if they hate the scheme, then that means that they're not putting their all into it. It's crazy. The regulator, yeah, I've been watching Acho. Acho's been doing some great breakdown of the Cowboys. Man, he talked about how frustrating it is just to watch the film. And you heard even one of the guys asked, are the Cowboys out there doing their own thing? Or are they out there freestyling? Well, if they don't like the scheme, and the reason why I'm seeing some of this stuff is Nate Newton is explaining some things that Nate Newton is hitting some things on the head, and I don't think people like it. It's probably why a lot of people are not talking about it. But I think Nate Newton is giving some truth. He's about to give you some truth about Matt Eberflus too. I don't think some people gonna like. Check this out.
Strength become from right to left.
That's what Shotty made it sound like. He thought the biggest area of the communication problem was. He said when the shifts happen and responsibilities change, that's not getting communicated consistently enough to everybody.
So Nate, what you would do is stick with the zone or 85, 90% and just try to improve assignments.
Have you ever heard your grandmother say 6 on one hand, half a dozen on the other?
Yeah.
I've heard Jerry say that.
That's where they're at right now.
Don't matter.
You got people running around trying to my job is this as a player. I have to give it 110%.
That part right there. That part right there. It don't matter that I don't like the scheme. That part don't matter. That's why Nate Newton started this out with, who is the coordinator? Is the coordinator now going to be Jerry and the players? Or is the coordinator going to be Matt Eberflus? Now, Matt Eberflus needs to make adjustments, as many as he possibly can, for these players to put them in a position to succeed. He needs to do that. But it's also up to the players that they should be unequivocally giving 100%. And some of these players out there, we have to admit it, they're not giving 100%. They're just not doing it. And I think a part of the reason why they're not doing it is because of what Jay Recruiter said. I said it the other day. They don't like the scheme. Bro, but you're getting paid to be a professional football player. I'm telling you, this dude is in a tough position. Listen to what he says next.
Of what you're asking me to do. And then it's your job as a coach after. I think the first 4 games of any season, that's why y'all power rankings are so hard to get.
And horrible.
Because the first 4 or 5 games of any season, the coaches now know their players.
Yeah. Belichick said he would treat it as an extension of the preseason.
Yes, and that's what I've done. So now you know who your players are. Have they given everything film study, being on the field, actually doing it, working it? Have they given it their all, or are they just saying no? If they're just saying no, you better hurry up and change.
Say it, Nate. This is the problem. That's a part of the problem. I think the Cowboys are doing way too much of this rotation bull. They need to come to, okay, these are the guys that give us the best chance to win when they're on the field together. Can we come to that conclusion? What group of players is that? What group of players give us the best chance of winning? They're going to get the majority of the snaps. No more of James Houston getting 25 snaps. No more of Maurice Leofau getting 9 snaps. What you doing 9 snaps? Whoever the best players are defensively that give you the best chance to win, they need to get the majority of the snaps. Period in the story. You can't reward. See, they're trying to say we're rewarding guys on practice. Don't reward guys on practice. Reward guys based on practice and the play in the game. And then say, no, these are the players. These are the starters right here. Right here. These are the starters. That's how most teams do this. That's really how most teams do this. Most teams aren't trying to rotate, and I think we're trying to do this dumb model that people saw the Philadelphia Eagles do last year. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't do that. I can see where people are talking about Sam Williams. Sweet Zeke said Sam is lazy. Seabass said Sam Williams is a penalty machine, and I don't like it if he's supposed to be showing out in this contract year. Seabass, Sam Williams is one of them players that should be on the bench. Sam Williams should be on the bench. Point blank in the story. The regulator, he said we need a better DC. I knew it when our cornerbacks were 8 and 10 yards off. The cornerbacks on 4th and 3 instead of pressing them. Now, the regulator. Now, that 4th and 3 call, that was the Cowboys knew where he was going. They tried to bait him. Problem is, they lined Murray up. It was a dumb place to line him up. He got over there way too late. Had he got over there a split second faster, that would have been a pass breakup. But I do say the regulator, I think that two things could be true. I think it's crazy that the doggone cornerbacks are 8 to 10 yards off. But I also think that Matt Eberflus may be saying that they can't play up close. I think that's what he's saying. They can't play up close. They can't play press coverage. I think that's why he's been playing zone so much. He's saying that these guys aren't capable of what they're saying. Bam Bam Gaines, I made this point the other day. Al Harris was a huge loss. He has literally contributed to 2 wins that the Chicago Bears had. They punched the ball out on Javonte Williams and turned the momentum of the game against the Cowboys. And then they turned the Commanders over, and the turnovers were the difference in the game of how the Chicago Bears were able to beat the Commanders. Poobie D said, play with some pride and heart and stop looking confused every play. Poobie D is saying it's the players too. I'm sure he's saying it's the coaching, but this is players too, man. This is players too. Rose said, I love how positive you are, G. He said, you helping me. Man, hey, you know what? In the positivity that I'm giving us these facts in here because these are facts that Nate Newton are stating. This is not conjecture, man. He's making a great point. People think you can just turn a defense around. Oh, yeah, we're just going to run man this week. You can't just say we're going to run 80% man this week. He's right. Boy, Jay Recruiter. Boy, if you didn't say a mouthful. Jaden Blue is Deuce 2.0. Deuce 2.0. Man, shoot, I got to agree with you. Shoot, Jonathan Cook. The coach don't want Blue. Facts. But that's not his job. It's not his job to not want Blue. If the front office drafted Blue, it is his job. It is his job to not only play Blue, it's his job to put Blue in a position to succeed. Don't give me this Dalvin Cook bull junk we did last year, putting Dalvin Cook in against the Atlanta Falcons. Don't even really give him a chance to run, ran him 5 times, and then that was all we heard from Dalvin Cook. Stop it. That was somebody basically saying they didn't want Dalvin Cook. Come on, man. Stop it. It's crazy work. Stop it. Let me see here. Yeah, Lock and D. Yeah, he don't fit Scotty's scheme. That was all Will McClay picking these players. Lock and D. But as the coach, he has a responsibility. If they pick players, the coaches don't get to pick every player they want. They just don't get to do that. The GM actually picks players. The GM picks some players too. The GM, the front office, there are players that they pick that they want. And the expectation is for the coach, make him successful. Put him in. I don't care what your philosophy is. I need you to put him in situations to succeed. Because you think about this. Mike McCarthy did the same thing to Kevontae Turpin. And why is he not using Kevontae Turpin? Why is he not using Kevontae Turpin? We saw the flashes of Kevontae Turpin. Now I think Brian Schottenheimer is using him in the wrong way because he's just trying to play him as a traditional wide receiver. Man, you can't do this. It's not your job to sabotage players. There are going to be some players sometimes you're going to have on your team that okay, I didn't necessarily want this player, but we got him. We spent a draft pick on him. Okay, let's make it work then. Let me look at the tape on this guy. Let me see what he does well. How can he help us? It's crazy. It's crazy to throw a player away like this. And some of these same people who were mad about the Cowboys throwing away Deuce Vaughn are now advocating the throwing away of Jaden Blue. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. I would take Jaden Blue any day of the week over Deuce. Any day of the week. Rose makes another great point. Mike McCarthy did that with Rico Dowdle. Exactly, Rose. Mike McCarthy was so reluctant to run Rico Dowdle. Thank you, Rose, for that point. And I was screaming last year, why are they trying to mix this dude in with Zeke? Let this dude run the ball, man. It's amazing to me. Then we come back in the Carolina Panthers, let him loose on us, and man, this dude looked like a pit bull dog that hadn't ate. Rico Dowdle looked like a pit bull chasing a meat truck and hadn't ate in a week. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy to me, the advocation of throwing away Jaden Blue. It's crazy to me. Superstar Status said we can't lose no more than maybe 5 games. Maybe because 5 games because of that tie. So Detroit and KC, maybe the next losses, but any more after that, then it may be over for us. G. Man, Superstar Status. Boy, let me tell you something. The NFL has done such a great job with this doggone parody and the way these schedules are shaping up. Man, this could be one of them seasons where 9 games could win this division. 9 games could win this division. It's crazy. Jay Recruiter, he said Blue is a late round pick for a reason, not very good. There's been plenty of late round picks that have been good, though. I think Jaden Blue can do some things for the Cowboys. Jaden Blue, nobody's saying Jaden Blue needs to be the starter. You don't need to make him the starter. You can't give him a series. You can't give him 2 series. You can't figure out ways to acclimate that speed into the game. Nah, something's up with that. Well, I agree with you on this, Jonathan Cook. Well, if they don't think this much of him, then get him off the team. But I bet you this: let somebody like Andy Reid get a hold of Jaden Blue, and then they play Dallas. It'll be the same thing all over again. Jaden Blue will wreck the Cowboys. Jay Recruiter said Blue doesn't have between the ears. Jay Recruiter, I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with Blue doesn't have between the ears. I'm struggling with that. You don't play football all your life and don't have at least the basics of football between the ears. All I need Jaden Blue to do is run left and run right. I don't need Jaden Blue to be figuring out mathematical equations. I'm not buying that they can't figure out a way to use this dude. I'm not buying the fact that they can't find a way to use this dude, Jaden Blue. Red Leader, you're making a great point. We should try Jaden Blue with the jet sweep. I have literally seen teams use players for one play and one play only, and they're successful at it. I don't care if you give Jaden Blue 5 plays. Give Jaden Blue five plays and let that dude go. You got him because he's got speed. Unleash the speed. And we're sitting up here advocating throwing away this dude. No, man, it's crazy. Skeptical fan up in this thing. He said fire by Eberflus. Skeptical fan. You about to be mad at what I'm about to let you hear Nate Newton say. Listen to this.
If they're trying, then you say, okay, I'm going to have to move this guy off the field on certain situations. I'm going to have to put this guy on the field on certain situations if the offense allows me. But a lot of offenses will look at our defense, and they won't run a slow offense. They'll run a medium to fast offense to keep you from subbing. So for me to come in and say, I have the answers, I know what you can't do, you can't fire the defensive coordinator.
Well, do I need to put that on repeat? I'm just telling you. Nate Newton, straight out of Nate Newton's mouth. Listen to it again.
On the field on certain situations. if the offense allows me. But a lot of offenses will look at our defense, and they won't run a slow offense. They'll run a medium to fast offense to keep you from subbing.
See, he's making this point. This is why I think the Cowboys need to stop all this rotational bull. No, man, you find the players, the best players that give you the best chance to win, and they are the players that need to be on the field the majority of the time. It's crazy to me some of the best players for the Cowboys got so lesser snaps. But again, skeptical fan, you ready?
So for me to come in and say, I have the answers, I know what you can't do. You can't fire the defensive coordinator. I know what he has to do is find a way hurriedly on how to fix this, to mend this, because it's not going to be fixed.
Nate Newton in studio, bringing it strong as always, right here on 105.3 The Fan.
I said the same thing. You can't fix it. You can't fix this defense. A trade won't fix this defense. Not a trade. You need trades. And those trades, you would have to guarantee that those trades aren't one-year rentals. That those trades would have to be people that you're going to keep around for the next 3 years. Bass, he said, what I saw Blow do at Texas, he can help this team. I agree. He said they got to learn to, he said they best learn to incorporate this dude's speed. And I'm going to tell you, Brian Broaddus, I was listening to Brian Broaddus on the way to my meeting yesterday. And Brian Broaddus said the Cowboys would actually do better and be smarter to block for Jaden Blue than trying to go out here at the trade deadline and get some of these running backs that really, in the grand scheme of things, are redundant. If you're trying to get another Javonte Williams, it's redundant. Or they may not even be as good as Jaden Blue. The Jets have already said they're not trading Breece Hall. Now, I'm gonna translate to you. I'm gonna translate for you what the New York Jets are saying. Don't come knocking on the door for Breece Hall unless you're ready to give up a first-round draft pick. That's what they're saying. Unless you're ready to give up a first or a second, don't knock on the door for Breece Hall. That's what they're saying. And I'm sorry, but Breece Hall for the Cowboys? Nah, man. Nah. I'm not giving up no doggone second-round draft pick for Breece Hall, and then I got to turn around and figure out how to sign him? Ain't no way. Ain't doggone way. Not giving up no doggone draft picks. I don't even understand. Now, if you telling me we can get Breece Hall for a fifth or a sixth, okay, bring him in. But for a first or a bitch, boy, miss me. You can do that for your team. I wouldn't do it to my team. Yeah, DJ Strife 1, he said, Brian Schottenheimer, yep, I can remember some of the running backs he's had. He's had the most success with Thomas Jones, Marshawn Lynch on the Seahawks. The two are similar to Javonte and Maffa. I can get with that. I can understand it. But you also, if you say you're going to be multiple, hey, DJ, so if you tell me this is what you're going to do, well, I'm going to do exactly what the Carolina Panthers did. I got news for you. I'm going to take away those lanes you want to run in. I'm going to crash down on your center. I'm going to line up my one tech right over the top of your doggone center. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take away that if that's what you're wanting to do. Man, you got to be able to show teams not only can we run inside, we can run outside too. Got to run inside and outside. It's crazy. Yeah, superstar status. That's what I was talking about with Jimmy. See, Jimmy controlled the draft. But Jerry ain't letting that happen no more. Superstar said Jimmy controlled the draft, but Jerry was in there micromanaging him, and he had to reassure him that he knew what he was doing, but Jerry let his ego get the better of him. Yeah, see, Jerry ain't doing that no more. And I think that's one of Jerry's biggest problems is that Jerry is too busy trying to prove his football acumen. And I think he can pick out talent, but you know, some people can pick out talent, but it takes skill to build a team. I think if he keeps listening to Brian Schottenheimer, though, I think he'll be all right. Shadell said, hey, G, we can't play man Both of our cornerbacks will get burnt, period. Our line is not getting pressure. Chanel, what did you think about what Nate Newton said? I thought what Nate Newton said made a lot of sense. If the cornerbacks could get jams, that would give the lineman maybe an extra second to get to the quarterback. I think that's a very, very good point. Because we give a lot of free releases. We give a lot of free releases off the line. And if you go back and look at the tape, that's what's getting us a lot of times. Man, these free releases, these players are getting off the line. And they don't even give our players time to react to the zone. In the zones, they can't even react. They're running by them so fast. I'm telling us. All right, let me see here. Got a couple of quick, now the rest of the segments for the rest of the night. They're just going to kind of be fast segments. Let's go to Troy Aikman. 70s Fan Show. He was asking, why am I talking about Donovan McNabb? I'm going to show you something that Donovan McNabb said today that is absolutely hilarious. I want you to hear what Troy Aikman said today about Dak Prescott. I thought was incredible. Check out Troy Aikman talking about this team and why this team will not fall apart. This is why I said earlier, in Dak we trust. Check out Troy Aikman.
Good morning, George.
Okay, so with all those credentials that you have, you tell us how tough it is for a team not to start pointing fingers when they have a squad that's really good on one side of the ball and the other is almost dead last in every category like the Cowboys are right now defensively.
Well, I've seen some of Dak's comments this week in regards to that. I don't. It obviously could be a problem with some teams. I don't anticipate that it would be here, and a big part of that, of course, is Dak's leadership and the way he's handled things, and I think that's probably pretty consistent with the organization and with the team in general. So I think everyone understands kind of what some of the problems have been, what they've got to correct. But as far as there being any dissension within the locker room, I don't see that, and I don't anticipate that. And I think I think maybe things have changed a little bit around the league in that regard, just because of with the salary cap and how much money gets spent, particularly at the quarterback position, and in Dallas, of course, at wide receiver as well. But when you look around the league, oftentimes, a lot of the money is spent on offense, so it becomes a lot more challenging for some of these defenses as well from a payroll perspective. So I wouldn't read too much into that. But with that said, I mean, everybody feels like they've got a job to do, and everybody wants to do it the best they can.
How surprised were you that Rico Dowdle called his shot against the Cowboys? Not Derrick Henry, but...
And so I just want you to hear that about Troy Aikman. I think Troy Aikman is telling us something about how great Dak Prescott's leadership is. This is why I told y'all earlier. Dak Prescott is really helping out Brian Schottenheimer. He's really helping out Brian Schottenheimer. Dak Prescott is really keeping this team together. And I think Dak Prescott is doing one of his best jobs I've seen him do as far as the way he's really keeping this team together. And so this team isn't going to fall apart. A lot of y'all, I'm just telling you, guys, you can choose to watch this season any kind of way you want to. I'm just going to encourage you. Don't watch this season being disgruntled, mad at Jerry, and don't watch this season thinking that there's no hope for this team. There's a lot of hope for this team because they got Dak Prescott. Bottom line, they have Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is playing some of the best football in the league right now. He is the number one quarterback in the league right now. And he's got George Pickens. He's got CeeDee Lamb. He's got a pretty good offensive line in front of him. They'll be healthy soon. Javonte Williams is running the ball. I do want the Cowboys to stop running Javonte Williams in the ground, and they need to I don't care if you bring up Malik Davis. I'm very interested to get I'm very anxious to get Phil Maffa off of injured reserve. Maybe he'll be more of an issue down the stretch. And I still say they need to acclimate Jaden Blue in some form of fashion, whether it be run game or passing game. He needs to be acclimated. They need to become even more diverse offensively. And if they can figure out how to get Jaden Blue on the edges, get him in some of them wheel routes we saw at Texas, get him in space like we saw him in Texas, play to this man's strengths, give him the opportunity to succeed, make their offense that much more diverse, this team has a great chance just because they're so good offensively. And I do think if they can just make some improvements, and I think some of the improvements that the Cowboys can make, they can make those in-house. The question is, will they make them? But I do think we should just see, hey, let's have a game where Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas both play. Wanye Thomas, Marquise Bell. Let's see them as safety. Cornerback, it is what it is right now. There's just not a whole lot we can do. Linebackers, what's the best combination until we can get back? Demarion Overshown. Maybe we try Sanborn, Maurice Leofau, and Shamar James. Maybe we try that combination. Because I'm telling this man, Murray Jr. ain't playing all that great either. Shamar James, they need to just go ahead and leave him on the field. Maurice Leofau, I would go ahead and let Maurice Leofau, it's time to start Maurice Leofau. I'd go ahead and let him start. And then I would go between Sanborn and Murray and see which one gives me, who gives me the most with these two guys who got a lot more speed. Cowboys have got to make those changes. And then once they make those changes, is there someone out there? You get Overshown back. Is there somebody out there in free agency? Or is there someone we can make a trade for? I think there are two players right now on the streets the Cowboys could get right now that might be able to help out this defense. I think Stephon Gilmore. I think Kendricks could maybe help them out. We're going to talk about Kendricks in a moment.
Yeah! Here we go!
Okay, let's go over here to Donovan McNabb. 70s fan, he said, why are we talking about Donovan McNabb? Well, I don't know if you've seen this, but boy, this right here. This dude, Donovan McNabb, is trying to get canceled by the Philadelphia Eagle fans. Check this out.
Unbelievable list. The Eagles may disown you for this one, Donovan. Dak is your top pick. Tell me this. What?
This man is trying to get canceled in Philadelphia. Donovan McNabb's MVP top 5. What? Let's go, Donovan McNabb.
Dak, first of all, has no defense whatsoever. CeeDee Lamb has been hurt. They've been mixed matching different guys. It's just pretty much him. And they're running the football, yes, but their play action game and intermediate passing game has been on fire. They're the reason they're in a position they are is because of Dak. Baker Mayfield has battled injury, but he at least has his number one receiver. Mike Evans will be back. I love what he's doing. Sam Darnold needs some love because everybody wrote Sam Darnold off after those last 3 weeks of the season in Minnesota. And now he's come to Seattle and changed that whole organization around. Obviously, we've seen Jackson and Njigba and what he's able to do downfield. But, you look at all the list, the guys that I had on the list, I want to give Drake May some love. And the reason I say give Drake May some love, because everybody just really basically said he was awful in his rookie year. And we all know how that went over there in New England with the coaching staff and no mentorship, no leadership to help him through the process. What he's been able to do with Mike Vrabel and bringing Josh McDaniels back, he needs a lot of attention, and I think he's going to continue to grow and flourish.
This list is so good, I would turn your mentions off, though, after this MVP list. Let's take a look at your...
Yo! That boy Donovan McNabb is trying his best to get canceled, boy. The Philadelphia Eagles are about to come after this man with a vengeance. They are going to come after this man with a vengeance, I guarantee you. But that man, Donovan McNabb, boy, hey, he said Dak Prescott, MVP right now. He said Dak Prescott is doing more with less. And I can't help but agree. Can't help but agree. All right, let's move quickly again. We got Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott had a few things to say today. Dak Prescott, again, having an incredible. Dak Prescott is having an incredible season.
About the excitement with having CD back on the field.
Yeah, a lot of excitement, obviously, and then just the last 2 days of practice, he looks good. He's ready to go. I mean, obviously, I saw him last week and during the rehab, and probably could have went then, right? Being careful, but he's ready to go. Looks great. It's gonna be fun.
You mentioned earlier that it's not about forcing the ball to guys you want to take what the defense is giving you. How do you balance that with trying to get CD the targets to help him knock whatever rust he might have on from not playing in the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think I've alluded to it before. It's as much shot in the play caller and right the guys in the game plan's responsibility of putting him in those positions, right where he is, read number one or read number two.
Yes, sir, Kelvin Hicks.
It's easy for me, right? Just stay within myself, keep reading the defense the way I've been seeing it. Stand within the play, whoever's open gets it. And as I know, I mean, obviously just from the game plan and the way that they orchestrate it, he'll get his chances.
The team has been so up and down this year. That's surprising considering the talent you have overall, not just overall.
What are we, 6 games? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6 games in. Part of it, I think, in the NFL in a sense, right? Talking about, I know I've mentioned the identity before and finding out who we were. And when you're up and down, I don't know if you have that answer quite yet or as quick as you'd want to. But we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, we know where we've got to grow. A lot of room to grow, and I know we've got the right people and the competitors for the most part in this locker room that are going to do what's necessary to make some gains.
What gives you confidence? What gives you confidence the defense can turn it around?
I practice against them. They're an NFL group. Practice against them all off season. I know the guys as people, not just players, and how they're made up. I know they're as pissed as anybody is. I know their standard, and as a teammate, I got a lot of confidence, and they'll get it going.
So from seeing them every day in practice, though, why are they falling short in the game?
I mean, yeah, but I'd also have to go back and look at the X's and O's of the other offense, what they're giving them, how they're attacking that. In that standpoint, I've got a lot on my hands.
What they want Dak Prescott to say, the defense trash? These people, man.
To worry about the offense, and so I'm going to just keep focusing on that, making sure that we don't have a lull and we continue to get better, hold ourselves to our standard, and I know the defense is only going to improve.
Shout out to Angie the Rubber Chicks. Angie the Rubber Chicks. What up? What up, Angie?
Done since when CD was out, change how your play offense going forward. I mean,
yeah, a huge amount. I mean, I think just in the past of when you line up, we break the huddle. You don't know where CD's lining up, and I think if CD doesn't get hurt, GP's probably just going to be an outside receiver for the most part, moving forward. Him having those games, showing his ability, showing what he can do, showing not only just how he relishes with him getting more opportunities, but he asks for more responsibility. You're going to have to figure out where they both are. If they both are maybe in the slot, maybe on the same side, having the ability to have 2 guys like that and just put them wherever we feel is best each and every play is only going to be beneficial to us.
Have you had that before?
No, not having.
When Amari was here, I don't know if him and CD or whatever, if they.
I mean, yeah, maybe they're early when right Amari and CD was young, but CD was young, right?
Yeah.
And he was more just in the slot. We weren't asking him to get out there, and he hadn't mastered, I would say, the position quite as he has.
Mm-hmm.
And these 2 guys, young guys, are figuring it out and have figured it out. And
I like George Pickens and CD Lamb, like where they are now. Both of them kind of in that prime part of their career. Both of them, pretty experienced. I think this CD Lamb and this George Pickens is better than that Amari Cooper and CD Lamb. I think they're better, and I think that's what Dak Prescott is saying too. No, this George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb is insane. And with what George Pickens has done, shoot, boy, Shotty better turn that playbook up. Because there is no excuse to not obliterate every team going forward with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. They should obliterate every single team. It is actually a reality for the Cowboys to score this year. The Cowboys have what? 11 games left. It is a reality that the Cowboys may actually score 30-plus points in 8 of those games. I'm telling you, I'm not going to be shocked if they score 30-plus points in 8 of those games and 40-plus points in 4 to 5 of those games. That's how good this offense actually is and can be.
Only want to get better and get more responsibility as they can.
Does having two guys that can kind of line up anywhere allow you to do some things offensively that maybe you didn't think going into the year you could?
I wouldn't necessarily say that we didn't think we could, but it's just electric. It's electric. You got two playmakers like that have the range. They can beat anybody with their speed down the field, can make any 50-50 catch, can catch over one guy, over two guy, whatever it is. It just makes it fun. It makes my job a whole lot easier, and excited to see them both out there. And the best part about it is they're each other's biggest fans. They're each other's biggest supporters. They want to see that other guy go and get.
Kevin Hicks said there were 31 other defensive coordinators who are doing better with lesser talent. Man, I don't know, man. You think with lesser talent? I'm struggling with that. Yeah, Terry Tatum. He said, I agree, G. Cowboys need to clean house after this season. Straight up. They need to clean house on this defense. These guys who are having these problems are the same guys who were having problems last year with Zimmer's defense. Same guys. And we said that he left some of Dan Quinn's stuff in. Well, they were still struggling. Nah, they need to clean house on this defense. I'm keeping Deron Bland. The rest of them, Trayvon Diggs, I like you, bro, but it's time for you to move on. It's time to move on. And man, I don't know. I hope Savon Revel Jr. can get it together because, man, Savon Revel Jr. had some kind of setback, and I don't think the Cowboys are talking about it. I don't think they're talking about it, but he had some kind of setback. The regulator says Sam Williams on X looking at the defense laughing. That tells me they don't take Eberflus serious. I'm going to show that in just a moment. All right, let's finish up with Dak Prescott.
10 catches, 2 touchdowns each game, so we just got to find a way to spread out 20 balls and 4 touchdowns.
When you go up against a guy like Bobby Wagner and his veteran prowess, being able to read and react almost pre-snap, how do you combat those mind games that he's able to play with offenses?
Yeah, have a little bit of our own, just being able to use his strength against him in a sense, whether it's showing him different looks that maybe look like a play, maybe it's just some of the calls we make where, we feel like he may know exactly what those calls are. But he's a hell of a player. I've played against him many of times, and he's going to make plays. That's what Bobby Wagner does. So it's about us making the next one and just moving on.
How much fun are you having at the line of scrimmage? It looks like you're going even deeper into the play clock, making changes at the line, changing back and forth.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Freedom just goes back into the offseason, everything that I've put into this. Like you said, trying to get free plays. I think everybody's got that message. They're not moving. They're afraid to jump. But that's also doing its job. That's also we got the pass rush where we wanted. So
Hicks, you think about
continuing to build on that. It's not just me. It's the whole offense. They understand the mannerisms. They understand our plays, our formation, what we're trying to get to when we're in these certain looks, and that's what makes it.
Hicks, you said the 31 other defensive coordinators doing more with less, and then you say so instead of hiring a DC that fits your players, you're just going to burn it all down. I would. Because I don't think he's the only problem. I don't think he's the only problem, Kelvin. I agree with you. We can agree on maybe Matt Eberflus, but he ain't the only problem. These players, Nate Newton spelled it out. These players share some of that responsibility too. Because they're not giving effort out there. You got, like they're talking about in the chat. I'm going to show it to you in a moment, Kelvin Hicks. I don't know if you've seen it. But you got a player like Sam, and I don't really know what he was laughing at, so I don't want to go too far with it. But man, they got some players out there that's just not doing it, man. Miss Matrix said, gee, that's one extreme to the other. Eberflus is dead last at number 35, but you don't anyone else can be, say, 25. I'm not sure. I mean, because these players are sharing, they got to share some of the responsibility. Tim Cameron said his scheme can't beat high school football teams. But the crazy part is, guys, we're just talking about zone. This is really what he's been getting killed doing. I don't even know. At this point, I don't even know if the man is actually even running his own stuff. I mean, he's basically telling us this is the confidence he has in the players. All they can run his zone. Man, y'all got to understand, this dude, Matt Eberflus, ain't no dummy. This dude ain't no dummy. Ain't nobody ever called this dude dumb. And if we're calling him a dummy, ain't nobody ever called Matt Eberflus dumb, as far as I know, until he got to the Cowboys. Eberflus ain't no dummy. Some of this is the players. Some of this is exactly what Nate Newton said. The Cowboys, in trying to be so smart, they outsmarted themselves. Hiding everything they're going to do offensively and defensively, and it hurt the defense more. It didn't hurt the offense, but it hurt the defense. The defense couldn't afford. They could not afford to not work on the things that they were going to do during this season. They couldn't afford to do it. I'm just telling you. I think he's making some sense.
Easy and fun.
Is this the most freedom you've had in terms of making checks at the line?
I've had freedom majority of my career, I'd say so.
I get what you, Jay Recruiter.
I just think as I've gotten older, you're more apt to do it, right? You see it better. In the past, obviously having the same freedom as I do now, I think what I'm trying to get as the experience gives me confidence to jump to something faster and I know that look and just get to it. Where in the past, maybe you hesitated yourself and, okay, well, let me just do this or that.
What up, Bobby Tyler?
There's no doubt, and I think that just goes in when we talk about the blitz, people blitzing me or whatever it is. It all goes into the film study throughout the week and making sure that game day I'm seeing what I've been seeing all week.
Speaking of experience, you practiced against Dan Quinn and Joe Witt for years in practice. What's it like when you prepare and then face them?
Yeah, I can't wait. It's exciting. I feel like it's the first time in my career I'm like playing a game against a coordinator that's a friend, and not just and just knowing both of them. I mean, even Dan DQ, just having the utmost respect for him, understanding how they're running their program, the success that they've had so early is not a surprise with the way that they do things. But we've had a lot of back and forth, whether it be in practice, training camps, 2-minute drills, particularly with Joe Witt, that I'm pumped for this one.
In what ways has he put his imprint on it, Joe? Because second year in and then, just more personnel guys that...
Yeah, he's definitely put his imprint on it. And you can see it when you watch them versus my time going against DQ, certain coverages, playing more than others. I definitely see that's Joe Witt's input, things that he used to throw at me at 2-minute are kind of a base of their normal defense. And so that's exciting.
Eberflus talked about the frustrations not only from him, but the players on that side of the ball. What's kind of the message to this team as you welcome in the Commanders, who are 3-3 in such a tight race there in the NFC East?
We got to win it. We got to win this game.
Got to win it.
We've got to get better on every aspect of this, and we've got to win in the fourth quarter. I understand that's
Cowboys
where some of these losses have come late. We got to expect to win. We got to go do what's necessary and just win.
You've said that you expect the defense to improve and become more competitive, but the reality right now is they're the worst in the league and you're the best in the league on offense.
Now, Skull Unknown, you're asking a question that I think that's good. No, we wouldn't be better with Mike McCarthy because I think that Brian Schottenheimer already has done better than Mike McCarthy. I love Brian Schottenheimer's play calling versus Mike McCarthy's. Mike McCarthy was stale as toast. I did not like Mike McCarthy as far as his play calling went. Now, I do think if Dan Quinn was here, we'd probably be doing better from this standpoint. Dan Quinn don't mind bringing the farm. Dan Quinn ain't going out like no sucker. Dan Quinn ain't going out like no sucker. No, Dan Quinn going down fighting. Dan Quinn gonna throw you some unexpected blitzes here and there. He's gonna send people from different places. Let me tell you about Dan Quinn as a defense coordinator. He is going to get to your quarterback. Dak Prescott is a very savvy quarterback, and so I'm sure that they're going to try to get some play action going to slow down Dan Quinn's defense. They'll try to get some play action. I do think this is a game where he needs to incorporate that. If they're going to use Bobby Wagner's strength against him, they need to run some screen plays against the Washington Commanders, and I think Jaden Blue would do great in that. Get him involved. They're going to have to really do some things with Dan Quinn, because Dan Quinn is that type of defensive coordinator. If he gets a lead, he'll destroy you. Yeah, he'd be eating with this Cowboys offense, because if they can play with the lead, he's willing to take some chances to stop a team. Eberflus seems to be very conservative.
What kind of pressure does that put on you as a quarterback on every possession, feeling like you've got to get points out of every possession?
It's my standard. It's our standard.
Yeah, he already thought that.
It's what we believe that we can do, and what we expect to do. So I don't think it's any added pressure through our defense's early struggles. One, we've got trust in them. We're going to do our job. That's part of being a pro, doing your job and trusting, the man next to you is going to do his. So we've got all confidence in that, and that allows us just to stay within ourselves and play our game plan. When we come off the field, if we don't score, or we get to the red zone and we get a field goal over touchdown, that whole group is pissed and unsatisfied, and it's not about the whole score of the game necessarily. And our defenses, we need to help them out and we need to score. No, it's because we expect to, and it's because we have the ability to. And so we're just going to keep holding ourselves to that standard and doing the best we can.
Is it realistic though? I mean, they have to score every time, or feel you need to score every time?
No, I damn sure not unrealistic. I feel like I need to score every time. I feel I need to complete every pass. I would hope the running backs feel like they need to get 5 yards every time they carry.
Tell him Dak Prescott.
Now, it's not realistic, but you better feel that way and you better think that way. And I think anybody in that locker room has, or they wouldn't be an NFL professional player. I think that's just kind of the way some of our minds have been wired from the beginning. And whether you see it as crazy or, arrogant or whatever it is, I think that's why guys are in this locker room. And so, no.
What's Brian like on the headset up until that 15 seconds? Are you a guy that just wants to play and that's it, or is he giving you reminders, or just like kind of how's that back and forth go with you guys?
Yeah, no, he's just giving me the play. Knows I don't really care for reminders necessarily. However, second nature, it's in a play caller sometimes, right? When they call the plays, if there's a couple of checks on it, he might throw that out there, but that's normal at this point. It's not anything he hasn't done through calling it throughout the week at practice. And so my point is, if he's saying something about a play on Sunday, he said it on Wednesday or Thursday, so it's just a part of the play at that point, and I know what I'm trying to get to.
Shadi has mentioned an emphasis on the run game this week, a focus on it. How would you as the quarterback be able to help improve from 31 yards last week?
Yeah, do my job, make sure I'm getting us in the right play calls, make sure I get the right checks, and then from there, right, carrying out my fake, trying to just get eyes, do my part in the run game, and then make sure I'm just leading these guys in the huddle like always, getting their mindset and understanding that when that run game's working, the rest of the offense gets easier. So, not happy about last week. None of us are, not just the guys up front, receivers, any of us. And we're all going to do our part in making sure that we get this run game better this week.
How impactful is the return of Tyler Booker this week?
Yeah, huge. I mean, a young player who's obviously injured early, but showing a lot of success, a lot of upside. A guy that I've talked about, right, being a true professional in every which way of it, whether you're in the film room, in the locker room, down in the cafeteria, or on the field. He does things right. But shout out TJ Bass, right, doing a hell of a job and coming in his absence.
Yeah.
But it'll be good to get him back, and I know he's excited.
Dak, when you see what George has been able to bring you along with CeeDee Lamb, and I know he's a free agent, he said winning was the most important thing he wanted to do. When you go to Jerry and just have a private conversation, say, hey, man, you see what I can do with these guys, figure out how to get him back.
Yeah, some sort, yeah. Hadn't happened yet, a little busy, but yeah, it will.
A little busy?
Yeah, playing, watching the Commanders. When I run into him in that time of privacy, I'll make sure. And I don't want to dial him up on his birthday and tell him that, So,
yeah.
What you do for Shotty's birthday?
I don't even know if we sang him happy birthday. We played birthday music out there for him, though. It's your birthday. Yeah, I can't say that next part. Yeah, good vibes, though. It's a good vibes. Happy birthday, Shotty. It's a great day. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that dude right there is the key.
A lot.
Yeah, that dude right there is the key, man. Dak Prescott being healthy is the absolute key. Absolute key. And again, hey, the regulator, I think you're saying something here. I mentioned this earlier. You said that Shotty is coaching scared. And I agree with that because the problem with Shotty that he's got to really understand, he's danged if he do and he's danged if he don't. I mean Eberflus. Eberflus is coaching scared. He's danged if he do, he's danged if he don't. He's trying to play in a way to where he doesn't expose his defense. But his defense is already exposed. Bro, hey man, if you're gonna go out, man, don't go out like no sucker. Don't just get burned. Get burned in style. Get burned sending 6. That's how you get burned. Don't get burned rushing 4 and dropping 7 and 7 guys out there looking like clowns. No, don't do it like that, man. And again, I agree with what y'all are saying. Jay Recruiter said Eberflus is stubborn. I believe that too. I believe he's stubborn. I believe he has a certain way that he wants to run his defense, and he just won't relent because he's saying to, and I think he's saying to them in behind closed doors, guys, we don't have the players to do this. But I think they do have some of the players to do it. Ron Hanna, he said that's true, but the politics are blocking that from happening. See, that's one of the problems that Stephen has said a long time ago. The money stays on the field. No, you don't need the money to stay on the field. You need the best players to stay on the field. And sometimes you're just going to have to admit that you're just going to have to take the loss on certain players. It's a gamble, man. Sometimes there are just certain players that if you have given them their opportunity and you've exhausted everything, you've put them in the best position to win, and they don't do it, man, sometimes you just got to say, man, we blew it. Y'all do know they're saying that on Mozzie Smith. The Cowboys are saying they've blown it on Mozzie Smith. You got a first-round draft pick being inactive. That's crazy. Jay Recruiter, parity is going to guarantee the season is far from over. I think the Cowboys have a great chance of winning the NFC East. Jay Justin, he said, gee, you Coyote go out and play safety better than this. Man, the safety play has been bad, bro. It's been bad. It's been real bad. Brandon Mahoney, what's going on with you? Bam Bam Gaines said, just saw Aaron Rodgers yell at his running back for being out of position. All right, guys, we're gonna Dak Prescott will be the only one we'll listen to today. I mean, hey, we got 3 more days of Cowboys coverage, so whatever we didn't, we'll listen to CeeDee Lamb and some more players tomorrow. Let's kind of go over a few more quick hits, and then we'll get out of here. The Cowboys injury report is looking pretty good this week. It's looking real good this week. A lot of people practice this week for the Cowboys. A lot of people practice. Let's check out the practice. Look at the injury report. Look at this. We ain't seen this in a long time. We got Trevor Keegan. He didn't practice, but Booker, Cornelius, Nealon, Lamb, Mingo, Smith, Thomas, all practiced, limited, but they practiced. Wanye Thomas, Turpin, Wilson, all practice. Carson, Diggs, Houston, and Sanborn, all full practices. I got a feeling you're gonna see Sanborn back on the field this week. You're gonna see Sanborn back on the field. Cowboys had some serious problems. Serious problems at linebacker this week. All right, Washington Commanders injury report. We'll see how it shakes down on Friday and then game status. But Dorrance Armstrong didn't practice. Ale Cahoe did not practice. Terry McLaurin didn't practice. Chris Rodriguez didn't practice. Debo Samuel did not practice. Not sure. Let's see. Samuel got a heel issue. Rodriguez got a calf issue. McLaurin got a quad issue. Illness in a hamstring by Dorrance Armstrong. Let's see. We got Sam Cosme, guard, full. Jaden Daniels, knee, full. Zach Ertz, full. Jonathan Jones, full. And then we got Drake Jackson, injured reserve. So we'll see what happens with the Cowboys this week. We'll talk about more. We're going to start really talking about this matchup coming up with the Cowboys this coming week. All right, let's look at this thing with Sam Williams. I think Attack on the Cowboys did a good video on this. I'm not sure what's going on with this Sam Williams thing. But somebody by the name of Bob Stern posted, this dude is my edge at the point of attack getting destroyed by a wide receiver almost off the entire screen. And then he circles this down here. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't really know the context of this. But I can tell you this. Sam Williams is getting destroyed because he put a laughing emoji. He reposted this with a laughing emoji. And boy, when I tell you, people are going crazy over this. Look at some of the comments on this thing. May said, I don't know what's funny about the embarrassment your side of the ball gets week after week. Sleeper Cowboy said, why are you laughing? Cowboys Due Diligence said, yeah, being the worst defense in the league is hilarious. Greg P said, this ain't funny. Stephen Mack, he just got the looking eyes. MPF, he said, what in the F could you possibly be laughing at? You're supposed to be a dog, but you're getting fried by a random wide receiver. Tell the defense to lock the F in. Y'all costed my quarterback an MVP award. Now, this is what I'm saying, guys. I'm not sure what the full context of this is, but what is Matt Eberflus supposed to do with this? What is he supposed to do with this? What is he supposed to do? This is Sam Williams. I mean, what are you supposed to do? And let's think about what this thing with Matt Eberflus. Does he have the autonomy or the authority to tell Jerry to tell Brian Schottenheimer, Sam Williams is playing like trash. Let's bench him. Does he have that power? Nisi says, sometimes our coaches are too arrogant to copycat what the other teams are doing. What worked in the 90s isn't working in 2025. Yeah. Now, Nisi, one of the things that Brian Schottenheimer did in 2023 is that he looked at what was happening in the league, and he brought that to Mike McCarthy, and that's what made the Cowboys take off. Let's see. Yeah, Tony. Hey, Tony, exactly. You create identity in preseason. That's exactly what Nate Newton is talking about. Yeah, you supposed to get all your stuff together in the preseason. You don't get in the season and all of a sudden you start revealing your defense. This is why I think these guys are struggling so hard. Struggling hard. Yeah, Bernard Fields, and I think some of this is just the growing pains of a brand new coaching staff. I think Brian Schottenheimer is doing a great job overall. I really do. I'm not gonna take anything away from him. I do think that Matt Eberflus is a part of the problem with the Cowboys defense, but I'm not going to totally disregard that some of this is the players. Because, man, look at this stuff with dang on Sam Williams. This thing with Sam Williams is crazy, man. Yeah, DL Strife 1. Let me tell you something, though. DQ ain't licking his chops. He ain't licking his chops about this offense. Because I'm telling you right now, the Cowboys offense is a handful for anybody to deal with. There can literally be nobody in the NFL. I don't care who that team is. They're not licking their chops going up against Dak Prescott in this offense. They're not. Dan Quinn not licking his chops. Now, His offensive coordinator may be licking his chops. He may be licking his chops. But Dan Quinn's defense ain't licking his chops. Dan Quinn gonna have his own hands full with Dak Prescott. Dan know what Dak is. Dan know what Dak is. DZ said it ain't always good to stack your staff with yes men. Yeah. Boy, Tim Cameron, boy, he said Napoleon Dynamite as a running back could do the Cowboys apart. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right, let's see here. And then let's go over this last part. Let's go over this last conversation with the trade news. So, a couple of things I saw out here. I thought this was very interesting. I want to make sure I brought this up. Why is this dude not in the league? Eric Kendricks, I thought, played pretty good for the Cowboys last year. But my question isn't so much why is he not playing for the Cowboys? I'm wondering why is he not playing in the league? Now, I'm not going to read too much into this thing with Eric Kendricks and this helmet being down here. Some people think this means that the Cowboys are going to sign Eric Kendricks. I don't think that's what that means. I think it means that Eric Kendricks is working out. And I think the look on his face is saying, your defense looks bad, especially the linebacking crew. I think the look on his face is saying, Dallas, why don't you come get me? I can do better than what you have out there. I thought Kendricks and Maurice Leofau look good on the field together. I think they should go out there and get him. I mean, what could it hurt? I mean, close your eyes and pick whichever linebacker you don't want. I think the Cowboys are going to have to come to grips that Damone Clark just ain't it. I would get Eric Kendricks. Shoot, hey, Bernard Fields. Nate spit nothing but facts. Nothing but facts. Bass, I agree with you. Blue not playing much of Texas is a plus for us. He has fresh legs. And I really think they need to get him involved in the screen game this week against the I think they need to get him in the screen game this week against the Commanders. Yeah, Regulator said, no, Blue is good, but the Cowboys got to figure out how to use him. They have to use his strengths. The Regulator. Come on, man. Straight facts, man. Straight facts. I don't care what kind of offense this man likes to run. If you're going to try to run screens, you need to do it intently, and you need to do better execution of it. You need to really get this. Because let me tell you something. How do you think Jaden Blue feels knowing that Brian Schottenheimer doesn't have any confidence in him? And I'm not buying that all of this lack of confidence that Brian Schottenheimer has in Jaden Blue is based upon the fact that Jaden Blue is bad. I think that lack of confidence in Jaden Blue is Brian Schottenheimer's own preference of the type of running backs he has. Well, that ain't fair to Jaden Blue. And then people are beating up Jaden Blue talking about, yeah, man, he ain't this, he ain't that, he can't do this, he can't do that. How in the world do we know? We don't even know. The dude has literally had 7 carries in 2 games. I'm not buying it. Nisi said, I like Diggs, but after I saw Thomas pushed him into the runner in the Jets game to make that tackle, I would have benched him for the next 3 games. Yeah, but hey, Nisi, it's time. It's time for Diggs. I wish Diggs was playing better. I really wish Diggs was playing better. And a lot of people keep telling you that Diggs is playing good. I don't know what they're talking about. But I'll tell you this. If anybody else thinks Diggs is playing good, if I were the Cowboys, I'd trade Diggs. Get something for him. He has no more guaranteed money. Trade him. I'd trade Diggs for a player that trade him for either a draft pick or trade him for a player that can help your team for the next 2 to 3 years. I would trade him. But again, this thing with Kendricks, I don't think it means anything more than Cowboys come get me. I think that's the only thing it could be saying, because I've heard nothing about the Cowboys getting Kendricks. Legendary Cowboy fan, he says, how bad is our linebacker situation where we're hoping a soon-to-be 34-year-old who can help this unit? Golly, boy. Boy. Patrick Guthrie said, he says, Stephen Jones will watch Kenneth Murray and Jack Sanborn getting cooked and say, we like our guys. Hillbilly Prodigy said he's better than Sanborn and Murray by a long shot. Boy, they is roasting this. And I think that's what the look on his face is, that I'm better than what you have. I just think that might be the look on his face. All right, let's get to this last one here, this last segment here, trade news. So, let me go ahead and bust some of y'all's bubble. Because some of y'all just keep beating your head against the wall. I just got to bust your bubble. Cowboys ain't giving up no first-round draft pick with Trey Hendrickson. I'm going to bust y'all bubbles now. I'm busting bubbles now on this. The Cowboys are not doing this. Heavy on the Boys said Cowboys are not trading first-rounders to land NFL sack king. They're not doing it. They're not doing this. And this is why I've been laughing. People talking about there are 4 teams interested in Trey Hendrickson. And one of those teams is the Cowboys. Come on, man. Man, it's a whole lot of things that I'm interested in. Man, one of these days I'm gonna show y'all my Amazon wish list. Man, I got stuff in my Amazon wish list, man, I don't have and I'm not getting. There are a whole lot of things I'm interested in, but there are other things that I prioritize getting over the things that I'm interested in. The Cowboys are not going to get Trey Hendrickson. And hey, don't get me wrong. If they did, I'm not going to cry about it, but they're not going to give up a first-round draft pick. Now, some people say that they believe the Cowboys, they would love for the Cowboys to give up a second-round draft pick for Trey Hendrickson. I'm not sure at this point where I am on it, because I just don't think that one player, he's not going to save the defense. He could help, but I don't think he's going to save it by any stretch of the imagination. And the Cowboys would have to be very careful about how much they give up for this, give up for Trey Hendrickson. How much of the money would Cincinnati pay on the side of Trey Hendrickson? I just don't think it's going to happen. Cincinnati Bengals have already extended Trey Hendrickson, and I don't think it's going to happen. Says here, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones noted this week that the team is in a good position with draft picks, having obtained 2026 and 2027 first-round picks from the Packers in the Parsons deal. He says, and even if those are not used directly for a trade of a player like Hendrickson, they could be a part of a draft calculation. Now, it says here, the big problem here would be the Bengals, and I like to call them the Bengals. The big problem here would be the Bengals and whether they plan to trade Hendrickson. At Bleacher Report, he is the number 2 player on the Week 7 trade big board, and the Cowboys are tabbed as a suitor. ESPN insider Adam Schefter also lists Hendrickson as a trade candidate as we near the deadline. I don't think this is going to happen. Even at 2-4 with Joe Burrow out, possibly for the year with turf toe, Bengals invested a lot in this season. Yeah, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and they went out and got Joe Flacco. That's telling you they're still interested in winning. They're not giving up Hendrickson. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. He's not even on the market. Nope. Even if Jerry tells me those picks are not untouchable, I'm not believing it. Jerry wants someone to pick up the phone. At least that's what he's saying. I don't think the Bengals are going to pick up the phone. I don't think they're going to pick up the phone. Oh, and then last but not least, and again, I'm just telling you, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, anybody's feelings. I'm just telling you, Cowboys are not giving up a first-round draft pick for Trey Hendrickson. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And if they gave up a second, I'm telling you, they would probably have to work out something serious with the money deal. Now, there's another player that people have been talking about Okay, this is his name. Okay, I thought I had it. Here it is. This to me would be more of the stuff that people criticize the Cowboys for. So people are urging the Cowboys to go out here and sign. Okay, we got one of these things going on. Let's try this again. People are urging the Cowboys to go and sign this running back that a lot of people had very high on their draft boards, I'm assuming back in the day, by the name of Jaden Wright. Well, he's been nothing but a disappointment. He has done nothing anywhere near close to what anybody thought he was going to do. And so the issue becomes, let me see if I can pull up another article on him. He has well underperformed. And the Miami Dolphins actually had him last week. The Miami Dolphins had him last week as not even on the active roster. Name is Jalen Wright. And people are wanting the Cowboys. Now, why would we want the Cowboys to go get Jalen Wright? Why would we want them to do it? He's never panned out the way anybody thought. He's never panned out. And we got people now who are saying that the Cowboys ought to go get him. I don't think so. I don't think the Cowboys should go get Jalen Wright. Let me see. I'm trying to pull up an article on him. Yeah, look at what this was over here on Instagram. Jalen Wright. It says, look at this. Jalen Wright is a healthy scratch again. They traded for this guy. Guess running backs don't matter when you can't run the ball. You got somebody here, they said future 1,500-yard rusher for some other offense confirmed. JW will start elsewhere. Finns don't know how to use their players. Now, listen to this. Isn't it funny how they're talking about him? They're talking about him the same way we're talking about Jaden Blue. Isn't that strange? They're accusing the Miami Dolphins of not knowing how to use him. Took him over some really good guards, if I remember right. It says, in Tua we trust. He'll turn it around. The great Peyton Manning. Wait a minute. It says, glad we've used so much draft capital on offensive weapons. Our trenches are in great shape and don't need any more resources allocated to them. I'm telling you, don't feel bad. He traded up for that. Look at this. Wasted pick. We shouldn't have drafted an offensive lineman. I mean, this guy has not panned out. Now, some of this they're blaming on the fact that the Miami Dolphins don't know how to use him. Well, we can say the same thing about the Cowboys and Jaden Blue per se. But again, a lot of people talked really good about this dude, Jalen Wright. Y'all tell me what y'all think about him. Now, if the Cowboys could get him for whatever 6th or 7th round, I'm thinking maybe a 7th they have left, or, maybe they could get him for a 5th round. Okay, maybe you could bring him in. But again, you bring in this dude, what are you telling Jaden Blue? I think some of Jaden Blue's issue is that he don't feel like the team believes in him. I'm just telling us. But what do y'all think about this dude, Jalen Wright? This is one of these players. I was listening to Brian Broaddus talk about him yesterday, and Brian Broaddus was saying that, again, even the great Brian Broaddus agrees. Some of y'all might not see Brian Broaddus as great, but I like Brian Broaddus' takes. Brian Broaddus said it would be better for the Cowboys. It would be better for the Cowboys to figure out a way to block for Jaden Blue than it would be for them to go sign somebody like a Jalen Wright. I agree. Nisi, you are not lying. Kay Adams don't even look the same, do she? Mills 36 said, I live in Philly. McNabb still feels some type of way after getting booed in the 99 draft by Philly fans. and people in Philly siding with Terrell Owens. Mills, 36. He might also feel some type of way that the Eagles allowed Michael Vick to take his spot. He might feel some type of way about that too. But again, what do y'all think about Jalen Wright? People are wanting the Cowboys to go get him. Kelvin Hicks said, I don't think he should be laughing, but he wasn't even a part of the play. He said, that's why he's laughing, because y'all don't know what you're looking at. Kelvin Hicks, that's why I said I don't know the full context of it. But I can just tell you this. Boy, people have been blowing that up. They've been blowing that up. Nisi said, Flus is running that DQ zone scheme from that Green Bay playoff game. He's trying to get fired. Yep. Blue Star, what's going on up in this thing? Blue Star Dallas TV. He said, I'm surprised that Dak hasn't said what Cam Ward said about the same, G. If we keep it a buck, the defense is but. Hey, Blue Star, you know Dak will never do that. Yeah, Dak will never do that. Dak is still trying to get this team. Dak still believes, and I still believe, that this team can win this NFC East. It's wide open. The Cowboys can still win it. That 70s fan show, he said, aren't those free releases on the line trying to bait the wide receiver? It ain't working. Yeah, Chanel said, hey, G, Eberflus may have to see if his players can play Tampa too. This builds over traditional cover two, protects against deep middle routes. The middle linebackers deep drop takes away the seam routes. I like it. And like he said, ain't nothing off the table. Maybe if he can prove that he can do something with what they give him, maybe they'll say, hey, we'll bring you back next year. All right, my man Darren Posey, he said, man, forget what y'all talking. He said, punch JD5 in the mouth and win this game. He said, I'm tired of this punk smiling over the field. Man. Yeah, Lock and D, I agree with you. We need a GM with a football mind that don't have Jerry that Jerry won't hire. One, he thinks he's smarter in the room. That's why we're gonna fail till he die. But we have Steven too. You know what? I think Steven might actually turn this thing over to Will McClay. Chanel said, I would like if we send a feeler out to Matt Patricia at Ohio State. I loved how he had the defense prepared with the Patriots, and now with Ohio State. Yeah, man, but I've heard some terrible stuff about him. Boy, I heard he was terrible in Detroit, though. Yeah, I heard Matt Patricia was terrible in Detroit. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. 3 hours of Cowboys content. We're going to be back tomorrow with even more content, man. It is Friday. Boy, thank God it's about to be Friday. We getting closer and closer to another great game by the Cowboys. I believe the Cowboys going to do it. Nisi said our number ones need preseason reps moving forward. Amen. Amen. Nisi, we've done this now for 2 seasons. We always trying to pull the season together in week 8. Straight facts. Yeah, I think Sam did a bad thing with all that laughing on that thing, man. Even if he's not, even if Jay just said, come on, G, me and you can play safety. Man, we probably couldn't hit like them dudes, but I bet you we can play pass coverage better. I bet you we could probably play pass coverage better, man. Man, I'm telling you, I still got a lot of faith in this team. It's early in the season. They are 2-3-1. It could be worse. It could be worse. I'm feeling good. I still feel good about what the Cowboys are. I think we'll be good to go. Chanel said Trey is a 5th and a player. You can send Mozzie to Cincy. Boy, if they would take that. Henderson contract is over in 2026. His extension would be done. Boy, if they would take Mozzie Smith, Chanel. Whoa. Boy. Now you want to talk about a win. Whoa. I've heard people talking about Bradley Chubb from Miami. and Cedric Gray from the Titans. I've heard Bradley Chubb. What's good, Kevin Howard? We're gonna see. I can tell you this. I think the Cowboys are gonna do something at the trade deadline. Now, y'all don't get your hopes up. I'm not sure they're gonna trade those draft picks, but I do think the Cowboys are gonna do something at the trade deadline. Just a matter of what it is. But I'll tell you this. Don't let people hold your feelings hostage talking about stuff that you ain't even heard from the Cowboys themselves. I'm not even gonna do that. I'm just gonna wait and see. Whatever the Cowboys do, I'll report on it, and I'm rolling with it. But again, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. We're gonna be back tomorrow talking more Cowboys as we build up to a great game between the Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys when we talk facts. Peace.